bar is down here. So that's what he was.
It's something along those lines, yeah. Da, 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 da. Okay, guys, thanks for hanging out with us again today. This is the third time or part 3 of trying to interpret a response to LiteratureDevil's Mary Sue SJW video, where he goes into his own little reasons, definitions, and explanations as to why the Mary Sue is equivalent in some capacity to the SJW mentality. So thanks again for joining us. We had a bit of technical difficulties right there, but we're back on track. And well, it just keeps getting better. This is always there's always some fun thing to talk about here.
And I learned since last time that reactionary is a term used by, I think, leftist NPC types that if you're a right winger that is reacting in any way to an SJW or anything like that, or saying the term SJW in a negative light, then you're a reactionary. It's like I guess it's like NPC, but for them. But it makes less sense because it's reaction, not the like NPC where everyone thinks the same way because they've been pre-programmed. But yeah, it's apparently a buzzword they use to paint anyone of opposition to them, I guess.
Yeah, well, it's strange. We can't quite explain their mentality. I don't want to. We're just trying to hear the argument for his video. And hopefully we'll get through more than 10 minutes than we did last time. So, yeah.
We'll see. Okay. Time can only tell.
You will know the standard by which they set Mary Sue's, okay?
You will know his name is the Lord when he lays his vengeance down upon me.
I don't think you're that angry. I think you're pretty copacetic and friendly and evidence-prone, and yeah.
For anyone in the audience watching, this is the part where he's saying that the part where he stopped my video while I was going over. I was explaining how Wesley Crusher, a straight white boy, was a Mary Sue, so he could explain how my only definition of Mary Sue is brown people or women, and the little doodle here to the left is a standard I apparently have for white men, where they can be this awesome and still not be a Mary Sue, while the little doodle over there to the right is apparently my standard for brown people and women, where they can only reach this high before I call them Mary Sue.
Which is odd because he disagrees with you on Wesley Crusher being a Mary Sue, but that's irrelevant.
He disagrees
Because you are saying, listen, this white guy is a Mary Sue. So the standard is already false if this were the standard.
He's this white boy is a Mary Sue, and then Vaush is like, no, he's not. But let me tell you how much. Yeah, let me go ahead and tell you how much this LiteratureDevil says that all women are Mary Sues and all white men aren't. Okay.
I don't mind him making the claim so long as he could point to your words and say, look, this is what he thinks. It's like, what? Where?
But he can't. He literally picked the worst spot in my video to make this claim. Yeah. Right in the middle of me calling a straight white boy, Mary Sue.
It's interesting. We're trying to not read into it because we don't want to put words in his mouth. We don't want to, figure out what he's trying to think in this scenario. But he's obviously going on a rant.
Yeah. His exact words were, the little doodle on the left is my definition of where Mary Sues are according to white people. So a white guy can be that awesome before he's a Mary Sue, and that little doodle on the right is a brown person or woman can only be that powerful before I call them a Mary Sue.
And we admit that Wesley Crusher gets better as the story goes on.
Oh yeah, he gets better. Once you stop seeing him a lot, he gets better.
Yeah. And he stops during the 7th season, but that's when he becomes a Time Lord. So it's like, okay, well, how do we characterize that? Yeah,
just kick him out of here. It'll be fine.
It's kind of a strange way to make a character less of a Mary Sue by turning him into a time god, but okay.
Only with Wesley Crusher can you do that.
Yeah, I guess. I'm not so sure. If you read the other short stories, he literally just destroys timelines. Like, he's so powerful. He destroys the Maquis. He does all this crazy crap. You're like, oh, Jesus.
He's just write Wesley out of the main canon. That'd be fantastic.
Yeah.
That is what it is. It is that simple. White man? Yup, here. Brown or black person or woman? Way down here. I gotta stop reiterating this. Anyone who doesn't already know this, anyone to whom this is not intuitive knowledge, First of all, I'll be charitable. Welcome. Now you know the truth. To those of you who believe this isn't truth, shut the fuck up. Yeah.
Okay, again, we got to be careful. Don't do this, people. When you're arguing a point, you don't belittle your audience who disagrees with you. And he is attacking a straw man. This is not LiteratureDevil's words. He invents this criteria that no one has except for him. And he's saying, look, these are what these reactionaries are saying. It's like, really? When did we say this? So,
When did we say this? He could at least pick another part of the video. This is literally, not figuratively, but this is literally the worst possible place in my video they could pause it to make this claim.
that's it.
Yes, it is. God, just go.
In weeks, he also gets promoted to acting ensign, allowed free reign of the ship, and anyone who opposes him is wrong for doing so. And
What the fuck is he talking about? People oppose Wesley all the time. Whatever.
I just said people oppose him, but they're wrong for doing so. And he just thinks I said people don't oppose him. How does the words people oppose him are wrong for doing so mean no one opposes him? I guess we kind of agree. He's just not listening again.
Yeah, there's a particular scene, everyone remembers it, with Picard and Crusher on the bridge. It's the episode called Data Lore, where Crusher points out that that's not data. And Picard's like, shut up, Wesley. And Wesley doesn't shut up, and then Dr. Crusher's like, shut up, Wesley. You know, that's the famous line.
Yeah, shut up, Wesley.
But Wesley's actually right.
Yeah, Wesley's actually right. And because they oppose him, and he's a Mary Sue, both at the same time, they are wrong for doing so, and he is in the right.
And guess what happens after that? He gets a promotion.
He gets a promotion. Come on. I mean, can you just dial down how much you love your creation?
Actually, he gets 2 promotions. It's one to acting ensign, and then he gets a full ensign status before he's even in the academy.
Before he goes to Starfleet, he just gets promoted to ensign status. He's just that awesome.
And if
he is totally Mary Sue.
Yeah, if we look at, like, it's kind of hard to gauge it. Like the first season, he is saving the day every 4th episode on average. It's like 24% of the time he's saving the day. Now, as the years or the seasons go by, it decreases, of course. But that's what we're saying. He starts off really powerful and crazy, and it's kind of weird, and like 15-year-old kid just doing random stuff, and then he becomes more human. He becomes more normal. He's still super genius, but we see him less. And it's episodic. So again, other characters get their turn to shine, as Vaush pointed out. That's true. So, but whenever he's on the scene, it's just like he knows the answer.
Yeah, I mean, when Picard gets his chance to shine, he gets strung up and imprisoned, and asked to say there are 4 lights. There are 4 lights. When there are 3,
well, again, he thinks that Picard is a Mary Sue, and we're like, wait.
Oh yeah, well, he's wrong. That's not correct at all. That's not correct.
When-
He thinks there's no one here. I mean, there's no character in existence. It seems that he doesn't think is a Mary Sue, except for maybe the Teen Titans and Rey.
Oh yeah, because they're sidekicks or whatever. Because they're based off major characters, I guess. I'm not sure. It's hard to say what mentality. I don't understand that mentality. It's like, hey, they're knockoffs. They're ersatz Batman. It's like, but that's the point. They're supposed to be sidekicks. Like they're supporting characters, and then you give them their own series, and then they're okay. It's like that. Is that it? Is that how you write non-Mary Sues? Okay. I don't know. I've never heard that definition before. Maybe we've missed out on TV tropes or Wikipedia. I don't know. Where do you go to find these things? I'm not sure.
In your fucking narrative. Have fun.
in other words, the Enterprise crew is comprised of the best in Starfleet, until Wesley becomes the focus and the Enterprise crew drops 100 IQ points, and the
What the fuck does he mean become the focus? The Next Generation was 7 seasons.
What do you think I mean by becoming? Okay, chat. Okay, everyone in the chat. There's like 45 of you. What do you mean? What do you think I mean when I say Wesley becomes the focus? Do you mean do I mean the entire show starts revolving around him, or do you think I mean when he gets his own episode? What do you think I mean? When Wesley becomes the focus, when a character has their own episode, they become the focus. Does that not make sense? Did I use the wrong terminology there?
I'm trying to remember the episodes, but there was one where he figures out like the Stargazer is this orb that the Ferengis using to screw around with Picard's brain, there's the one with the dolphin, that chick who's metamorph, the one where all those kids and him get trapped by this superior race that wants to breed because they can't reproduce.
Oh yeah, I
He
remember
managed
that
to
one.
hack the computer, and
I think I've kind of like purged all the Wesley episodes from my
they're
memory.
yeah, just like, oh, Wesley's involved, he'll be fine, you know.
I can skip this one.
There's so many where it's just like, yep, he's gonna save it. Even the one with that crazy game where everyone gets like orgasms whenever they play
Oh
it.
yeah,
And
that's a weird one.
Yeah, and he figures it out with what's her name? I can't remember, another romantic interest. You know, it's just like, oh yeah,
He gets romantic interest after making romantic interest. Like for a character they portray as this socially awkward genius, he gets a lot of romantic interests successfully, pretty easily too. He kind of just shows up and women just fall in love with him. And
yeah. And this is while he's like, okay, remember when he went to Starfleet, he's the only one who told the truth, and instead of getting kicked out of Starfleet for doing this horrific thing and getting one of his cadets killed, they say, oh, you just have to repeat a year.
well, that's not so bad. I mean,
Everyone else they get like in jail.
yeah, they get like expelled.
because well, that's the Tom Paris thing, right? The character. I don't actually know. No, it's different. That was a different character. I apologize. The same actor.
Yeah,
But-
they actually wanted to have the actor play that same exact
Right.
character, but it would be residuals every time they used him.
Right. So I mean, he comes back and he visits the Enterprise. Every time he visits the Enterprise, something happens and he saves the day. So, and of course, his last episode is the time traveler one, where he tries to help the Native Americans, and he becomes a Time Lord. And it's like, oh, okay. And that's good because during that time he's like, I'm not interested in my studies. My marks are going down. I'm not motivated. It's like, oh, he's becoming a human. Wow, look at that. And as soon as that happens, nope, he's a god now.
He's just God. I mean, he's just so awesome, so superior to anyone else in his race, in the human race, that he's the one person chosen out of all the humans in the galaxy to become a god.
The Mozart of our generation. The entire universe is poof, I can time travel. It's like, what?
Like Mozart on crack.
Of like 20 episodes per season, every episode being 40 minutes. What the guy this making it sound like, oh yeah, and in midway through season 1, Wesley Crusher became acting ensign, and the remaining 6.5 seasons were jerking him off. What the fuck is going on?
Universe bends to create.
Well, no, he didn't say that, but I think he grossly misinterpreted what you just said.
When Wesley becomes the focus, like I thought that would be pretty clear to most
Yeah.
people. That when
Epis-
because everyone who's seen Star Trek knows that it's so many episodes per season. Usually, the main characters get an episode to themselves
Right.
every once in a while.
if they're lucky, they get a two-parter, and it's usually at the end of the season or some special event, and you know it's all episodic storytelling. So the next episode, nothing like it shifts. So no plot line is ever continued. The only thing that really continues are like props. Spot's cat is back. Whatever. Like they keep Riker has facial hair again. You know, it's the same. You know, stuff like that. Nothing really tangible.
In probable scenarios, all to make Wesley look good. But Wesley has nothing compared to this new breed of Mary Sue, this dark new fusion between two of media's deadliest diseases, the Mary Sue
Give it to
and
me.
social justice. Fusion between two of media's
I think he's trying to do his penguin impersonation. I'm not sure what that was about. We won't judge him on that, though. We don't do that here.
No, I mean it was all right.
It was
all
pretty
right
funny.
for an impression.
I found it. Yeah, no, very good. He's very talented.
deadliest diseases, the Mary Sue and social.
Let's see it. Let's look at this. Look at this boomer shit, by the way.
I don't think describing the leftist mentality is a boomer thing.
I think it's a sane thing.
Well, we're talking about
It's been
boomers.
the same things. I mean, it's been the same thing since the French Revolution.
Well, that's way back. Yeah, I mean, if you're talking about the boomer generation, anyone born between the 40s and the 60s, I guess. So I've never heard anyone from that, like even my parents, I've never heard them talk about leftism. I mean, maybe if they were.
Because, like in America, at least, the right wing had taken over for a while, like the far right. Well, maybe not far right, but like fundamentalist Christian right
Maybe,
had taken
yeah,
over
yeah.
America for a while. So no one really talked about the left wing because it was the right wing who were censoring everybody and everything. But now it's the left.
The outrage culture. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, outrage, cancel culture, outrage culture.
EC lobe, Marxism shrine, blame the West synapse.
Now, I would like to see him actually disagree with this, but he doesn't.
He doesn't disagree with any
He
of it.
just reads it.
He just reads it. He's like, well, maybe he can't because it's accurate.
The self-awareness center is very small, you see. The victim gland. What is this boomer shit? Jesus fucking Christ.
Is it wrong?
He's not disagreeing with it. He's not saying this is wrong because
It's boomer. What does that mean to be boomer shit? I wish I.
It used to mean, oh, you're a boomer. You're like over 50 or mid 50s, maybe 60s or 70s or whatever, and you can't understand technology, and so you boomered it up. But now boomer has been ruined by the far left. It's in the same thing as incel, and I think like what chud. They call like married men with children incels and stuff. So it doesn't really mean anything. It's just an insult they throw at you to try to destroy your career and reputation.
Okay.
Like racist, because racist and sexist and everything, they kind of lost their bite. No one really pays attention to them anymore because they kind of watered it down because everything is sexist and racist. So they started appropriating chud and incel.
Okay.
Those are the new terms.
Well, two of the greatest threats media has ever seen: the Mary Sue and social justice. And this is like being done in impact font over a picture of a cowboy, like giving you a cocky grin underneath a mustache. Like, this is boomer. This is.
He described a font with a cowboy. What? What is he?
That is the font I use though. It's called Impact. It's the font used for memes. Like whenever you see a meme and they have words on it, it's the Impact font.
Oh, okay. All right. I was like, where is he going with this reference? All right, cool.
It's called Impact.
Some fucking boomer shit. By the way, please, with me, appreciate the supreme fucking irony that we live in a society. We live in a society.
Yeah, we do live in a society, Mr. Joker.
where Batman stalks the streets.
We live in a society. Where is Harvey Dent, by the way?
That was a pretty good impression.
Society. Right now, we're 90 fucking percent of the shit that comes out at any given year. All the major blockbuster releases are sequels or remakes. We live in an
okay, what is your point, sir?
environment right now where creativity.
Just because there's a sequel or remake doesn't mean they're not just drowning in political correctness and NPC nonsense, which they tend to be. I had a stream yesterday on my channel where I talk about how wokeness and NPC and political correctness, whatever you want to call it, has invaded The Boys. It's still an okay show, but if you look at the comics and then you look at the show, you can clearly see that wokeness has taken a pretty strong grasp of The Boys. It's still alright though. It's still fine.
Is actively punished in media. The reason for that being because studio execs want to make sure they get dividends back on their investments.
Every investor in anything want to get dividends back on their investments. Any industry.
George Lucas actually had a little rant on this where he says that it's like kind of like, I don't know how good the metaphor you want to call this, but it's kind of like you're at the gambling tables, and a new kid comes up to you and say, I have this idea. I'm really good at gambling, but then again, there's this guy next to him, this veteran who's been proven to be able to actually do well at gambling. I don't know. Say it's that guy with the explosions, the guy who did the Transformers movie,
right? Michael Bay.
Michael Bay. Michael Bay is standing next to this guy, next to the new kid. So, and you have $1,000. Do you give the $1,000 to the new kid, or you give the $1,000 to Michael Bay, who has been going to the tables and coming back with enormous amounts of winnings? It's kind of like that. Investors want a better chance of getting their money back and making a profit than just taking a chance on a new kid. It's not good. It's not the ideal situation. Far from. But that's the truth of it. Unless you want to be an independent creator, fund your own stuff, then it's going to be tough to get funding.
That's more of a sign of the industry and the times than it is anything to do with what kind of content is coming out, I think. I mean, it's...
Yeah, because that would probably be in place no matter what. But nowadays, it's, okay, we'll fund your project, but you have to put all this stuff in there. It's mandatory things.
Right, and that says nothing of television. That has been fantastic for the past, 10, 15 years, writing.
Mm-hmm.
So we're just talking about movies, I guess. So hard to say that it's all bad, but it's there. There are some we can definitely tell when writers are messing up, especially with the
I like
last.
how one of his chats says, "Imagine ironically calling justice the boogeyman." I'm not calling justice the boogeyman. I'm calling social justice the boogeyman.
Big difference.
Social justice is a perverted form of justice. It's what the Jacobites used to destroy the French Revolution.
I
They
wouldn't
were the
even.
radical wing.
Yeah, I wouldn't even put on the same comparison. Those are totally different things. Justice is an actually established form of ethics ordained by a municipality or a judge or whatever kind of legal system you've got. Social justice is this. I wouldn't say a perversion. It's hard to describe. It's kind of like we wish things were like that, and you're like, why? Because we said so. It's like, what's your definite? What's the problem? Like, what are you trying?
It's like mob justice.
It's something closer to that than it has to do with fairness or freedoms or what
Yeah.
have you.
We feel you did wrong, so we're going to not give you a trial. We're just going to destroy you.
Yeah, this person's bad. He didn't break any rules, but he's just bad. We think he's bad, so we gotta protect
Yeah,
others.
this guy made the wrong joke, so we're going to drag him out of his house.
He said words,
Yeah, he said words. He said words we didn't like. He
essentially.
said he said a joke we didn't like. I mean, just imagine how much like how easy like Lovecraft could have had it. He wanted to he thought up of these horrific things that would come down and break our minds. But little did he know that he just had to wait a couple of decades, and soon enough, maybe a century or so, and soon enough, people would not need Cthulhu-esque monstrosities to break their minds, but sentences and words and jokes, and they snap their minds like a twig.
Pronouns. Oh my goodness.
Pronoun.
Adjectives. Verbs.
These, Lovecraftian horrors of unimaginable
Sentence structures.
versus somebody's words. Same weight, same thing, same effect on people. It's turn you mad.
Sorry, the biggest problem media faces is not, Mary Sue's and social justice. It's capitalism, you fucking idiot.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, here we go. All right, he finally reached this point. All
Okay,
right,
so
fine.
first off, you're a fucking idiot, and secondly, it's an economic system which produces all of this media. That's the real enemy, guys.
Okay, we're going to be. Yeah, this is definitely going to be part 4.
We need more bread
capitalism-
lines. We need bread lines for comic books. We need bread lines for movies.
Bread lines.
Yeah, I mean that's what's going to happen if we get rid of capitalism. It's like there's no more entertainment.
Capitalism. A lot of these movies wouldn't be around if it weren't for capitalism, because capitalism has occurred, has helped these. You could call them private investors because they are private investors,
Yes.
not part of the government.
Exactly.
They are big companies, yeah, but they have big companies with money, and these big companies with money throw that cash around at different creators. Now, they will tend to go with sequels so that they can have a for sure return on their investment. But they do every once in a while take a chance on new people. I mean, you don't need to get it from a company. You could have like individual big investors. You can go to like a movie star and say, "Hey, you want to throw in for my movie?" And they can toss you a couple of million. You can go to a business like Starbucks, and they'll toss you a couple of million. This as long as you put the product in your movie. So there's different ways to fund your movie thanks to capitalism.
Yeah, and the idea that if we eliminate like angel investors or any kind of private investment, and somehow the movie content is going to be better is just, it's strange. Like you're comparing an economic model that the entire Western world, if not the whole world that has been in the first world, has been built off.
Yeah.
And translating this to media, it's like, wait, how? I mean, we wouldn't have French animation, we wouldn't have African animation, we wouldn't have.
We would have bread lines and huts. That's what we would
Yeah.
have. I mean, just look at the what was it? Not the Dead. That one movie with what was it? It would start off as a small movie. It's a big franchise now. It has a Book of the Dead in it. But it started off as a small movie, it was an independent movie made by a couple of friends. And Evil Dead, The Evil Dead.
Really?
Yeah, Evil Dead with what's his name in it?
Oh, right.
he had the chin. Like he has his biography is called The Chin.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
Yeah, but that started off as a small independent movie created by a bunch of friends. They got together minute funding, and they put it into a film festival, and it did really well. It did well enough that it eventually became a franchise because it caught the attention of investors and people willing to put their risk their money on this project. And that wouldn't have happened without capitalism. If if it did happen without capitalism, it would have been state funded, and then it would have been terrible because it was state funded. It would be
right.
government funded.
There's,
They want you to do like adhere to rigid guidelines.
yeah, there's plenty of examples of the state trying to do things like build cars and this and that, and it's like this, they just cannot compare to private enterprise. So
Yeah, there's a reason why government blank is always seen as the lowest quality possible because it's always the lowest quality possible.
although they are very good at killing people and stealing from people, so we have to give
Yes,
them that.
they are very adept at those
Number
things.
one and number one. So gotta give them props when they earn it. So.
Very good at taking your money.
But
Very
apparently,
good.
according to Vaush, all of this stuff, the 90% of the time when we get a sequel, it's all because of capitalism, guys.
The reason why there's a sequels and no new stuff coming out is because of capitalism.
Yeah.
That's the only reason, and that's the real problem. Not because Mary Sue's are the real problem. Because if you have a bunch of investors and you write a horrible sequel, okay, with bad writing and Mary Sue's, that's probably going to tank your franchise. You might get one more movie, but that no one's going to show up to. Like it even destroyed Star Wars. Like you have Solo and everyone, and you have The Last Jedi, Mary Sue's galore, and it even tanked a decades-old franchise,
Yeah,
one
so-
of the pillars of American pop culture.
So there's an actual limit to movie quality, and Adam Smith just couldn't calculate that when he invented the concept of capitalism, and it just maybe after 100 and so years, just like boom, yeah, media just gets bad. So
Mary Sue. Oh yeah, the greatest threat to fucking Western media.
is it the greatest threat? Is that what you said?
I said two of the greatest threats. I think it was a combination of two of the greatest threats.
Okay, not the greatest threat. I'm sure there's worse things than bad writing to media.
They're pretty bad though. Mary Sue and
It
social
is.
justice combined.
It's up
pretty
there,
bad. It's a
yeah.
nightmare scenario.
It's one of those tropes, like how you go to TV tropes. Like, tropes are not inherently good or bad. This is Mary
That's how you use
Sue,
it.
Deus Ex Machinas, overtly redundant patterns in storytelling, like detective fiction. There's all kinds, fantasy fiction, all kinds. Same with science fiction. It's like, oh, here we go, another vampire story. Oh, here we go, another elves in the woods story with dwarves and dragons, and
Here we go again.
yeah. So Mary Sue, we know where it comes from. We know why it exists, and there's different flavors of it. It's hard to define. We're gonna have arguments, but to even consider Picard a Mary Sue, I'm like, okay, we're there now.
You kind of go off the deep end here.
When people make characters that are too good, and when people care about like women and black people and stuff.
Yeah, that's not.
That's not what social justice
It's
is.
not.
Social justice is like how in the French Revolution, the revolutionaries would say, "Oh, we're all for the people, we're all for equality and everything." And then once they won, it was all about tyranny and killing off people who didn't adhere to your standards, and it was all terrible. That's what social justice is. It is a bunch of people having their own agenda, their own thirst for power, and using morality as a shield and a disguise to push that agenda and gain that power.
Yeah, demonizing everyone who disagrees with you, gaining power, and then doing whatever the hell you want, regardless of your supposed moral standing.
Because notice they don't actually have a actual set of principles. They could say we're against this, and then as soon as someone they don't like is also against that, it happens like someone that they don't like. Suddenly it's okay. If one of their people that they like is is robbed by someone, suddenly that's bad. Or if someone they do like is robbed by someone all of a sudden that robber is a hero. So they don't have a standard set of morals. It's all about destroying people they hate and uplifting the people they love.
Of the flavor of the month, whatever that.
Yeah, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Fucking Christ.
Okay, this guy obviously has the colloquialisms of Christianity, so I'm assuming he's an expatriate of the religious order of something. So that's all right. He's okay. He's cool.
It makes me really happy that I got him this angry.
I think he's like this. I don't know if it's just. I don't think it's just. I think he's just naturally like that. Because I know you're a pretty, aggravating guy, but I don't know.
Oh yeah, just always aggravating.
Those videos are so destructive, man. I don't know. Like, whoa, you want to get angry? Watch one of this guy's videos. He's gonna.
Yeah, just watch my videos. Just the angriest person on the internet. That's what I am.
No, you turn people angry. That's what you do.
Justice. Social justice is like a zombie plague. It makes everything worse.
Damn.
It's kind of like we were battling Nazis.
Wait, what the fuck were those
Social
pictures?
Justice is like a zombie plague. It makes
I know we can't see it because you didn't show us.
And he didn't show us.
everything worse.
You know what he just did? He boomered it. He boomered it. Right after he made a slur against boomers, he just boomered it by not showing his audience the video. How embarrassing. Again.
He'll flip back. Don't worry. He'll figure it out what he's doing.
Oh yeah, he'll figure it out, Mr. Boomer here. He'll figure it out.
He's just still in his mode of anger, right?
Okay, so to reiterate the weird sexism angle. Oh,
What sexism angle? Where did we go? How did we get from capitalism to sexism? What is he talking about? Okay, well, he's reiterating, so I guess he's going to
Maybe
repeat.
is this the part? I can't see the video, the part of the video I'm on, but
Yeah.
because he doesn't have it on screen because he boomered it. But I assume I'm coming up on the Ray portion of it. I forgot. I haven't seen this video in a long time. At least not all the way through without some reactionary pausing it.
Okay, let's see. Sexism, here we go. Boom.
sorry. Okay, here we go. So it makes everything worse. So I'm sorry, to reiterate the weird sexism angle that's going on in this video, a little fucking weird for him to be like, look at how SJW ruins things. Here are 3 nice traditional waifus, and now in the...
Are they waifus? I thought they're just pictures of girls.
Actually, I got this from there is a whole post, like there's a whole accounts dedicated to before social justice and after social justice. Before social justice, they're like normal, like beautiful people that are just like look well adjusted. And after social justice, they look like they belong in a mental asylum, and they've aged like 30 years. So yeah, it was like that. So that's why I put these pictures on there, because hey, look, before social justice, they look like attractive, very fun-loving people. After social justice, look, they're full with hate and want to murder you in your sleep.
I think that one on the right is Leigh Alexander for Polygon, I think.
Probably.
I don't know. Yeah, I can't say.
But social justice does take a toll on you. It takes a pretty
It's
hard
like
toll.
cocaine, yeah. Okay.
It's like meth.
second pictures, I want to fuck them less. Truly, social justice poses a tremendous threat to Western media.
Well, it makes women less attractive, I guess, by his definition, but okay.
It's kind of like we were battling Nazis, and now thanks to social justice, we're battling Nazi zombies. Or we made some friends with some cool people, but the social justice virus turned them into evil, soulless monsters that feed off happiness. Or you finally met that beautiful woman of your dreams, and now social justice has changed her into a hideous abomination that feeds on the blood of men. And
This is really weird. This is like boomer tier fucking comic. This is like...
I still don't know what he means by boomer tier. Like,
I don't think he knows what boomer means.
what is he on about? Is he talking about how the boomers are more religious?
I
and
have no idea,
conservative?
because there's nothing boomer about this. I mean, what is boomer about? I mean, is it like the 1950s?
You're just
they have to be
describing
beautiful?
how this is before and after, and then that this is what's causing it, and you're like,
Yeah, this is
boomer
real.
tier.
Like, I'm not making this up. This is real. This is before social justice. These are pictures of the people before they fell into the social justice poison, and then this is them afterwards.
yeah, that's all.
It makes things worse.
You know those boomer webcomics? Or like, it's like...
Does anyone know what he's talking about? What's a boomer webcomic?
What's a boomer webcomic? I don't know what he's talking about.
Oh, we got a super chat. Thank you, Andrew. Tropes aren't bad. Cliques are. Tropes are templates that allow originality, I guess, while cliques finish thought and eliminate originality. Originality, I think. Anyway. Well, not all tropes are equal. Yes, they're generally neutral. A pattern is just a pattern, but it's how it's done, how anything in writing is done. So with Mary Sue, it's automatically a pattern that raises questions, is seen as a author insert, and just makes things unbelievable. And that's why it's seen as a bad thing. With Wesley
if it
Crusher,
goes
it happens
off-
here and there. it kind of goes away and it comes back. But in some characters like Rey from The Last Jedi, it's just she is the poster child now for Mary Sue, unfortunately.
Yeah, author's power fantasy.
Yes.
Like, Father, I cannot click the book. I hate my wife. You know what I mean?
I have no idea what he's talking
I have
about.
no idea. I've never heard of that.
Father,
before.
I can't click the book. I hate my wife. Like what? What is he talking about?
I guess I don't peruse enough boomer comics.
I guess I thought maybe he was something like popular that we could reference, but I'm gonna Google that.
Boomer webcomics.
Calvin and Hobbes. I don't know.
But Calvin Hobbes is great, so I don't know. That's not a very
Charlie
good
Brown. Garfield. I'm guessing. I have no idea.
Charlie Brown, Garfield. They're also pretty good.
You know what I'm talking about here? This is some weird intersection of like true virginity with like boomer fear of change.
Okay, so I don't know what true virginity means.
I think he's just making things up.
I don't know what he's talking about.
He has no idea what to say. He's just making things
Boomers
up.
are afraid of change. They're like 80 years old now. I don't know.
They might be set in their ways, but I don't think for some reason, I don't think he's actually mentioning real boomers. He's just kind of like, I think he heard someone use that insult before. And now he's just using it here.
I would like some reference. I'm sure there's something he's pointing to, but we just have no idea what it is. And it's like, dude, like, what are you talking? Just what is a boomer comic? Like, how is that offensive or against a SJW-ism? Like, just connect the dots. I don't know what you're talking about, man.
I remember the good old days when women were all cute.
Yeah, like yesterday. Like, what are you talking about?
Like normal women are today.
Oh my
and
god.
normal men are today. Like, men like to look good too, right? There's a reason why a lot of men, they get up in the morning, they actually shave, and most normal men, they kind of shave, they take showers,
They
use
put on
shampoo.
suits and go to work. Yeah.
Yeah. This is the same guy who hates suits, apparently. So I don't know.
Well, that would explain a few things why people don't get dressed up to go to work, but I don't know.
Fucking Slavic trad wives, and now
What? Slavic trad wives? What's?
I think he's referring to white women. So like, that's exactly why I put a picture of a white woman there, so they can trigger these people. Because I know they hate beautiful white women.
These Eastern European people who happen to be women. Like what? What?
And so he fell hard for that one. So.
Gotta defend the women who are in Europe somewhere who might have skin tones of some Slavic denomination. Okay. That's bad. That's some boomer shit.
Oh, thanks to social justice, these fucking femoids these henpecking femoids just want things like voting and to not do all the dishes.
Voting and not... That's way before the boomers. Holy crap. That's like... what country are we in now? That was resolved a long time ago, sir. Wow.
Some of these... I'm not calling him NPC, though. He is having some like issues, like markers from it. But I think some NPC people think that we still live in a world of like women's suffrage movements and Jim Crow is still around. That's the world that SJW lives in.
We've had the voting thing figured out 100 years ago at least. I think
there's still slavery, and they're just chanting like "Stand slavery."
There actually probably is, but just in such small amounts. Like there's no, we can't point to anything because it's obviously illegal.
Well, not in the West. There's not really slavery in the West anymore. Not in America.
Well, there's all those reports of illegal shipping and whatnot. Things that are happening like the slave trade.
Yeah, no legal slavery.
Yeah, no, obviously. That's what I mean. Like slavery is still a thing. It just hasn't been eliminated yet, and we just don't have all the information, etc. So, whew. Okay.
Honestly, do I need to parody this?
You need to be clear as hell, man. We don't know what the hell you're talking. We are a parody, as far as I'm concerned. What is he talking about? Capitalism is destroying movies. Okay.
Capitalism is evil, even though capitalism has been able to fund the greatest movies of all time. That's how we have such spectacular high definition now, and all. So many good things have come out of capitalism, especially tricking communists into thinking communism works.
Let's argue about capitalism on our iPhones, okay? Your brand new this Mikey keeps adjusting and all this
Like,
other.
you know what happened if people don't buy iPhones at $500 a pop? They just stop selling it at $500 a pop. They sell it because people will buy it at that price. So people stop buying those things, and price will go down. That's how capitalism works. You vote with your wallet.
It's evil though.
It's evil. Instead of like the government saying you have to buy an iPhone at $500 or you don't get one forever. So you have to get $500 to buy an iPhone if the government says so, under a government-controlled market.
Price controls aren't part of communism. You don't know what you're talking
Oh
about.
yes, it wasn't real communism.
We don't do that in my supposed world.
My utopia. My no place.
Wait, guys, please. I'm sorry. Is it necessary? Do I need to make fun of this? Are we?
You gotta be first clear as hell, then you could parody it. First start with something we could wrap our brains around, and then go crazy. 'Cause right now you're just ranting, and I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about.
all on board? We get it, right?
Now it's infected the Mary Sue, which isn't just bad, it's a nightmare scenario. But is every SJW hero Mary
Fucking snowflake nightmare scenario. Jesus.
You are such a you cannot handle the Mary Sue, sir. It's just
It is a nightmare scenario. Mary Sue's were bad enough, but now you have Mary Sue's coupled with like agendas and stuff. So usually it's a Mary Sue, and then people said, "Okay, this is terrible. This is an awful movie because the main character is a Mary Sue." But when it's coupled with agendas and social justice and NPC agendas, you are then the enemy for not liking it. And that's like Rey. She's a Mary Sue, but you are wrong and evil and bigoted for not liking it because she's been protected by the shield of social justice. So yeah, it's a nightmare scenario. And then they're going to continue to make it because it's regardless of how much the audience hates it and how little money it generates, it's going to be continued that way because social justice has dictated it so.
okay.
Now, some Mary Sue are good characters. However, while the normal Mary Sue plays out power fantasies, like being smart and beautiful, the SJW Sue's fantasy is fulfilling all the author's social justice bias. All good men are gay or submissive. Straight white men are evil. Your chosen minority.
Your chosen minority. Guys, this is okay, we're hinging from reactionary propaganda to like white supremacist propaganda here. This is the same
White supremacist
Yeah.
propaganda.
Whoa. Excuse me, sir.
How is your chosen minority? It's not necessarily like women. Sometimes it's white. Sometimes it's like Mexicans. Sometimes it's never Hispanics, but sometimes it's black people. Sometimes it's women. Sometimes it's Islamic people. It's your chosen minority. It's not everything all the time.
How did we get from propaganda to white supremacy? Like, what is
White supremacy? Your chosen minorities exist, right? They exist regardless of where you are. Your chosen minority does not just mean brown people. It could mean anything that's a minority in said country.
We can look at what Captain Marvel, I guess, is the biggest, latest movie that has men sort of downplayed or looked as bad. We have the cast of Last Jedi. All the men are sort of idiots or not to be trusted, or what have you. All the women
They're there to have their bones broken.
It's just like those are the two big ones off the top of my head. I don't.
The common scenario is like this guy who's like has a beard and he looks kind of masculine. He goes, "Hey, what's up?" He calls her beautiful or something, and that's a signal to the audience that okay, this guy has opened himself up to be sent into traction and almost killed because he called her beautiful.
I remember the scene with the Dawn from Captain Marvel. He was a bit flirty. Maybe he shouldn't have touched her map, but he was just asking to see if she needed help. I get a smile, and that's worthy of breaking his arm.
How about no thanks, I'm good. And she's supposed to be a hero, right? Like she's not supposed to be destroying people's bodies willy-nilly unless they commit a crime or force her to do so. That's what villains do. That's a villainous act. I can see Skeletor doing that, not so much a superhero.
Guys, This is the exact same thing as every fucking no bullshit video. Blank goes woke. You know how no bullshit will make a video and it'll be on a news release about how there's going to be a show? So recently in the Watch.
Okay, with no bullshit, he's obviously biased. And
Yeah, he is obviously biased. Even I can say, like, I don't watch no bullshit. I used to watch him until I figured it out.
Yeah, it's like every
guy-
single video is like, oh, this is definitely the leftist propaganda. It's like, well, not this.
That guy's
time.
insane. Like, I don't know where he gets this. Like, he can pull things out of nowhere just so it can fit his agenda. It's just it doesn't work. He's very obvious. And no offense to any no bullshit fans or whatever. I don't like how biased he is. He finds whatever he wants to find, whatever he wants to look at, whatever's popular these days, and he calls it woke somehow.
And sometimes he's right. He gets it right sometime, but half the
Sometimes
time
right.
it's like, oh no, dude, you're just blowing it up way too far.
Yeah, but then again, sometimes when he's right, he makes it he overblows it way too much.
Yeah.
Like, that's a little bit of wokeness, but he makes it a great amount of wokeness. Like, he pulls it up to 11 every time.
Yeah. So I stopped watching that at least a year ago because it was like, all right, this is too much.
Some adaptation of The Watchmen will have white supremacists in it, and then fucking
What adaptation?
Like this TV show, like the TV show that's coming out, they straight out said that it's going to have a white supremacist movement with Rorschach masks. But the movie, the comic, there was no white supremacy in there, unless you think, unless like one of those gangs was apparently or something. But it wasn't pushed.
Yeah, Rorschach was not a white supremacist. There's no.
He was like the Punisher, sort of. He just hated criminals.
Yeah, he was pretty much his justice was white and black. There was no in between. That's kind of that was his thing until he takes the mask off and then he realizes that if he has to survive, then he has to die, or if he wants to survive, then what they're doing has to stop. And that's kind of nice because his emotions were never really clear with the way his mask kept changing, and it was always white and black. It was never gray.
Yeah.
Whereas Ozymandias's ethics and morals were, kill a million to save a billion, or
Yeah, his morals were like he was thinking way above everyone else. Like, he was thinking on world scale terms.
yeah.
So,
Whereas you're right. Whereas Rorschach was like 1-to-1. Like he would fight every single criminal 1-to-1. Whereas
yeah, he was in the streets and stuff. He had like low street level terms.
Whereas Ozymandias was thinking like, okay, I got to do it on macro level.
Yeah.
And to do that, he created this crazy scenario. And for some reason, I can't remember the exact reason, but Dr. Manhattan couldn't see it. And
It was, I think, in the movie, it was something to do with some sort of radiation that he created.
yeah, he couldn't
In
see
the
it.
comic,
Yeah.
I forgot.
Yeah.
It was so he created something where Dr. Manhattan couldn't see it. It was a distortion in
Right.
time.
Right. Because he would have stopped it if he did, but if he could see it, but he didn't. So that's
Yeah.
he was playing this massive plot, and the story was about. I'm trying to remember what it was about. It was about the death of some agent, some government agent, and everyone's trying to figure out who did that and what happened to the comedian. Oh, it's the comedian, and all that mystery, which then increased into this huge plot line of what was Ozymandias thinking? What was he doing? Anyway,
There's great red herring in the fact that they thought the comedian was killed by a guy who was going after former superheroes, which that wasn't the case.
yes, it was a whole plot. That was part of Ozymandias' plan to make superheroes from yesteryear look bad, and to bring them down a level and what have you. So
Watchmen is great. So anyone in the
it's a
chat,
great
read
comic.
Watchmen.
Top 5 comics of all time. I mean, yeah.
Read Watchmen.
Yes.
Okay.
Don't watch
read
it.
Watchmen.
I've never watched it. I heard it was some people who hated it was like, this is garbage. Some people who actually read the comics says, you know what? It's for a movie. I mean, what are you going to do?
It was fine. It wasn't really good. It wasn't great by any means. It was fine. Like, if you read the comic and watched the movie, it was okay. Passable. You can eat popcorn to it. I'll say that.
But yeah, definitely. Alan Moore's a crazy person, but still, he wrote some good stuff, and definitely check it out.
Yeah.
No bullshit will spend 10 minutes. So they're talking about white supremacy when white supremacy isn't even a problem. Way to go, woke. The original Watchmen wasn't political, but now there's going to be a woman protagonist? I don't know. Sounds a little SJW or black.
Okay, first of all, white supremacy isn't actually a problem in the U.S. It's like maybe 10,000 people who are white supremacists in all of the U.S. and they have like no power anywhere, no political power. There's like guys in trailers with their shotguns or something, and they don't even follow up on the principles. Sometimes the white supremacists technically hate me, but they don't hate me enough to just kill me right off. Right? They just might yell at me or something. Okay, but it's not really that big of a deal. It's just that the media has hyped it up just to smear Trump. It's not. It's actually not that big of a deal in America. You can go your whole life without meeting a white supremacist. And second of all, Watchmen had politics in it. It wasn't political. It had politics in it. It was inspired by politics. It wasn't like a political platform to push propaganda.
That's right. Yeah. No, I wouldn't say it's apolitical, but it wasn't there was no political message
in
it.
Apolitical, but it's not what political. Like it's not a soapbox for Alan Moore to shout his politics from the get go.
Yeah.
It's a story. It was a story first and foremost.
Yeah, it's kind of like how George R. R. Martin hates war, but he didn't put that message into A Song of Ice and Fire. There's all kinds of war happening in that story, but he didn't use it as an avenue to preach that. So
a good writer will put aside their beliefs and values for the sake of the story. I mean, if they want, of course, they're going to put their beliefs and values in the story somewhere, but they will put their beliefs and values aside.
Yeah,
if it will make the story better.
JMS, he's an atheist or an agnostic, but he put a lot of religion into his stories in Babylon 5. So that's what good authors do. They actually think about the world they're in, the characters that are there, and they don't use it as a mouthpiece, or they don't have a self-insert like a Mary Sue. They tell a story well.
Ariel or fucking Battlefield 5 cover bitch or fucking Witcher. Literally any single time there's a woman or a brown person or anything even remotely not reactionary in a piece of media, no bullshit will make his blank.
Okay, he's just talking about no bullshit. It has nothing to do with the movie.
Can you talk about me for a second?
Nothing to do with LiteratureDevil, nothing to do with this video, nothing. He's just rambling.
Okay, I'm getting a little jealous here. You're supposed to be looking in my eyes, sir.
You know Philip DeFranco, he makes these videos about the news. He says these like, what? Yeah, what are you talking about?
Goes woke on it. This is exactly that. This is what we're looking at right here. This is precisely it. In the minds of these people,
he's not attacking any of your points. Okay, he's just reacting to the idea that you're saying stuff.
He's I said the words chosen minority, and he goes on like a white supremacist tangent. What?
Focus, Mr. Vaush, please.
It is literally not possible to produce media that has women or people of color in positions of prominence, that includes trans people, or that has messages that are in any way, shape, or form contrary to like reactionary values. So these people will complain if you have a movie about a female protagonist who doesn't like it when men sexually assault her. I've actually seen people like this be like, well, why'd they have to get all SJW with the fucking like sex politics stuff?
Which movie? Which comic? What are we talking about?
I have no idea what you're talking about. I've never seen that movie. Like, what movie's talking about? Is it like a movie where a man sexually assaults a woman?
I'm not a movie kind of guy that would watch those kinds of shows. I guess they're out there. Are they common? Are they popular? Are they new?
Is it a new movie?
Yes.
In the movie Watchmen, comedian sexually assaults Silk Spectre, but he does that in the comic too. I don't think it's SJW though. It's more like this common writing. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Maybe I wasn't listening close enough.
Again, he's on a rant, so it could mean anything.
This shit happens, and the reason why isn't...
Okay, there you go. See, there's a person in the chat called Mama Gonzo. My chosen minority is gamer. Yeah. Your chosen minority can be anything that's a minority and that you want to uplift because you just believe in their category. You don't see them as people, you see them as a category. So when SJWs and NPCs and whatever you want to call them come in and they write a piece and they have like, I don't know, gay people or black people. The gays and the blacks in those stories won't have individuality. They will have a hive mind. They will all think the same things. They will all they're basically a planet of hats from Star Trek, according to them. Which is why they're going to be like the most powerful, influential, wise, hardworking, everything.
I don't mind his point. I just want to know what he's talking about. Really, it's all I want. Is like give me a movie that this is an issue, and then people I want to see react. Then I can Google that movie and see what bloggers or whomever write it. What about it? It's like, okay, good. You're right.
Yeah, I'm curious about that. What, is he talking about Watchmen? Because that happens in Watchmen, but I'm not sure if he's talking about Watchmen.
I'm not sure.
Just because these people are idiots, though they are. These people are unfathomably stupid.
You are unfathomably stupid. Not just stupid, but on a whole level that he cannot even comprehend.
Whole new level.
Stupidity.
so stupid. I discovered this whole new level.
Now, maybe if you were like a Socratic method kind of guy, you'd be like, perfect. That's exactly what I was going for. I know nothing. I understand nothing.
I was trying to find the undiscovered country of stupid. That's what I was going for.
Main reason this happens is because they are liars. They are aware of the fact.
Okay, so not only are you unfathomably stupid, somehow
also a liar.
Somehow because you can't understand something, meaning like the truth, you're therefore lying, which is impossible. You have to actually know the truth and actively tell a lie in order to be a liar. Okay? Just how this lying thing works. In case no one
What lie did I tell? Like, you just explain it to me.
Please, I'd love to know.
At the very least, he could point out and explain what lies I've told. But he's just saying, no, I'm a liar.
You can't call someone ignorant and stupid and then call them a liar. It doesn't make sense.
They are deeply aware of the fact that their prescriptions here make it impossible to create stories.
Okay. What prescription is impossible? The criteria for what you just previously put on the screen? I don't like. What is that like?
I'm not even done. I'm not even done with that criteria. You just paused it. It went on a rant about how I'm a white supremacist lying idiot.
Yeah. It's like, I don't mind the name calling. I just want to like justify it. That's all I want. You know, if we call him a communist, we have pretty good idea that he actually is, because he doesn't like capitalism. People call him comrade. He calls people comrade in the chat.
He's comrade in the description of his video.
It's like, okay, we think we have a pretty good, belief that you might be into the socialist movement, maybe. And that's not an insult. We're just saying that's as fact.
It kind of is an insult.
Well, yeah, in other circles, I'm sure it is. We're just stating facts here. But it's a deduction. He hasn't actually openly stated it.
We can come down to that conclusion.
Yes, exactly. But calling someone an idiot, I want to like, okay, if he's an idiot, show us the truth, show him his misunderstanding, and show him how he doesn't understand it. And
it's kind of like a Major Lee logic. Like, it's true because I say it's true.
Yeah, that's a whole other level of projection, Major Lee. Major Lee will... I don't know if he's acting half the time or he's trying to be funny and he thinks he's funny and then he keeps running with the joke. It's like, dude, whoa. Like,
you see what I just did there? I brought in another content creator and then I tied it to the person we're talking about. This is not what he did. He just went on a rant about no bullshit for a second and then came back to me. So that's how it's done, where you want to compare someone to someone else. You don't go just on a rant about someone else and then come back to the person you were previously talking about. You have to tie it back. Okay, that's how it's done.
You're such an ignorant liar. What do you know? Liar. You don't know how to do this properly. You're lying to me, you ignoramus.
I'm also a white supremacist somehow.
Maybe you're lying about being a white supremacist. That would explain it. Well, you don't understand true white supremacy.
Yeah, I don't understand what true communism is.
True communism.
Prescriptions were followed, which thank God they're not, because these people are losers.
And you're losing. You're a loser. We're just adding up the ad hominems. We're just like doom doom doom. He's loser, liar, capitalist. It's just
white supremacist, racist, sexist. You ever hear that Hillary Clinton thing where she's like, we're racist, sexist, Islamophobic, homophobic, blah-phobic, blah, 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 phobic, right? She went on a long list. She listed the list so long of all these phobics and ists and stuff. Like she went out of breath. Like she lost her breath. By the time she was done with the list, she was going, She was just out of breath because she just listed all these slurs and buzzwords, and so that he's doing the same list on me, but at a slower pace.
I wish you just focused on the argument and focused on one of your points in your criteria there, because then I could say, okay, maybe.
Why does he think I'm white? Like, is it because I'm so handsomely articulate? Like, we don't all
Fine.
like Hispanics don't all sound like Cheech Marin, okay? So like, oh, hey Holmes, you talk about the Lakers, eh?
Yeah.
My homeboy, my homeboy, we call him the come vacuum, right? Because every time I call him to come vacuum my house, he do it. No, we don't all talk like that, okay? There's some there's difference. It's not all Cheech Marin, okay?
As funny as Cheech is, but no, not everyone's Cheech. So
that these prescriptions would make it impossible to create decent stories with people of color or women or what have you. And they're fine with that because that is what they are trying to do. So when you...
Are you trying to make a story with, or a non-story? How does that work? You're rating a list of things not to do. So you're writing a story and you're not doing those things. Is that it? I'm not... I don't do all of this. Like, yeah, it's a general rule of like, don't write bad shit. It's like, okay, yeah, don't write crap. That's kind of the general rule of anything.
Yeah, that's why Mary Sue's is so bad. I mean, if your character becomes a good character, then therefore it is no longer Mary Sue. Like, Mary Sue is the a product of bad writing, which is why it's so dangerous to media.
And it's after the fact we've already made observations like, oh, where did her power level come from? Or how did he solve this issue before? Why does everyone like them? And you go, hey, this is sounding familiar. All these unexplained things and all these plot devices they seem to be in charge of. Oh, they sound like an author insert. And we call that Mary Sue. There's, of course...
No one likes these. I mean, you can like them, but usually people who like those like them ironically. Like, I like stories with Mary Sue's in them ironically. I got to see how terrible it is and what absurd things they put their characters through and how absurdly they get out of these situations they put them in. But they're not legitimately good.
Look at this shit. Here's the SJW fantasy. All good men are gay or submissive. Read, gay means they aren't constantly performing hypermasculine performativity, and submissive means that they...
No, gay means gay. And submissive. Yeah, I went over this. This is actually The Boys is a very good example of the change because I'll just use Billy Butcher as an example. In the comic, Billy Butcher is this awesome guy. He walks in, gets whatever he wants at any moment, and the relationship he has with the female director of the CIA, he just goes in and bends her over the table and does what he does. You know, they hate each other, and then he just says he demands something from her, and he leaves. And the show, he has to come in hat in hand, on hand and knees. He has to give her something, and beg for her to give him what he needs. So the change here is that Billy Butcher became far more submissive, far more able to be dominated, and that's a good example of what I mean by all good men, because he's the good guy, he's the hero. Well, I guess not the good guy, but he is the hero of this story, and therefore, because it's made in a more woke era, he is made more submissive by necessity because it is a woke era.
Well, there's a definition. There we go. In case anyone's unsure what that first sentence means, I think it was pretty clear, but thank you for the example.
Don't bowl over every woman in their presence. Straight white men are evil in that there are some straight white men, presumed straight, presumed white, presumed
white?
Oh yeah, he has. Remember, he's progressive, so he can't.
What the hell is presumed white? Are eyes deficient? You have like not.
Yeah, remember, I think there's some people who like identify as black or something. So, I think
I'm the color of the sunset. Okay. What kind of nonsense is this? Presumed white.
Very entertaining nonsense. I will have to give him that.
Oh my! How can you even argue this?
Well, you know the Oscar Wilde saying, right? I think it was Oscar Wilde. Don't argue with a fool.
Presumed white. Where are you going, buddy?
Not to call him a fool, but that particular line of argumentation was kind of foolish.
who are evil, not necessarily all of them, but if any of them are evil, then that's bad. And also, people who are brown or black are flawless and perfect, and they cannot do any wrong, in spite of the fact that, again, even in the stories that I know this person is going to fucking dredge up, like fucking Rey or whatever, that's not the case. Finn in The Last Jedi has character flaws and is not even close to being the wisest, smartest, most misunderstood, blah, blah, blah.
Okay, what part of Finn's two-dimensional character has flaws? He's bumbling, I guess. He's kind of like the comic relief.
Yeah, he's not that powerful. He doesn't want to help the Resistance, and then he gets zapped by the good electrocution stick from from Rose.
What, is he cowardly? He might be? There's a good excuse that he might be cowardly, but I'm not really sure if he was leaving out of cowardice. I think he was leaving to help Rey, wasn't he?
Yeah, he wanted to help his friend, but he wanted to ditch everyone else, and that was a common thing on the ship because everyone was leaving via escape pod. So Rose was just there, and then all of a sudden he's on board.
So I don't know I have no idea what the flaws of Finn are.
Yeah. But the thing is, he's about to do something. He's about to actually sacrifice himself for the cause.
He's about to be noble. Like Rose Tico interrupted him being noble.
And for some reason, none of them die. And it's just this bizarre, like, how did this even come up? Like, how did Rose even physically manage to get faster and get so far ahead that she can take a left turn and then slam into him at a slow enough speed where they didn't combust into a giant fireball, and then all this nonsense that doesn't make a lick of sense, which just defeated Finn as a character. Like, a woman comes out of nowhere and defeats Finn,
zaps him
as a hero.
And this plays right into my right into the list here. Like, she just overpowers him. She's a little, small, petite woman compared to him. She just zaps him and overpowers him easily. Which is weird because she's Asian, and Asians are on the lower tier of the oppression pyramid.
But she's a female Asian. And
yeah. Oh yeah, she gets a little bit of boost from being a female Asian, and he's a black man. So I think they might be on the same. They might be on the same tier. They might be on the same tier, actually.
They know this. This isn't just them being stupid reactionaries.
So we're not stupid, or you're not stupid. You actually know something about chosen minorities being smart. I don't know.
I like how he just goes all of a sudden assumes that chosen minority means brown or black people. And I applaud him for mentioning brown people, but I'm pretty sure he just means Middle Easterns and not Hispanics, because they leftist NPC people, they don't care about Hispanics at all. They just care about illegals from Mexico. So usually they mean Islamic Muslims. Usually they mean Muslims when they say brown.
Gotcha. I'm kind of curious what knowledge you suddenly possess that you were previously inextricably stupid previously. Now you actually possess knowledge. Oh, okay.
Now I have knowledge. Okay.
The deliberate disinfo campaign, which allows them to obfuscate the meaning of terms used to critique media.
Whoa. You are part of a campaign to obfuscate the literary terms in media?
Don't people usually get paid for that?
That's amazingly specific. Holy Jesus.
I have no idea.
What literary terms, sir? Onomatopoeias?
Misinformation.
Are those called similes? Like, which ones are you maxing here? Whoa, this is... I mean, it's like me accusing you of crime with a needle in the backyard of someone in 1972. It's like, what?
I totally wasn't there, by the way.
I got to read that again. I got to hear that again. That was so specific.
For every woman in their presence. Straight white men are evil in that there are some straight white men, presumed straight, presumed white, presumed men straight, who are evil. Not necessarily.
Well, if they're not straight, then your point is baseless.
Maybe
they have to be straight. They have to be straight in order for your point to be a point at all. So they can't be presumed. They have to they have to be straight canonically. Okay.
necessarily all of them, but if any of them are evil, then that's bad. And also, people who are brown or black are flawless and perfect, and they cannot do any wrong, in spite of the fact that, again, even in the stories that I know this person is going to fucking dredge up, like fucking Rey or whatever, that's not the case. Finn in The Last Jedi has character flaws and is not even close to being the wisest, smartest, most misunderstood, blah, blah, blah. They know this. This isn't just them being stupid reactionaries. It's a deliberate disinfo campaign which allows them to obfuscate the meaning of terms used to critique media and to silence the voices of groups of people who they do not want to have voices.
Okay, so you're doing two things. You're obfuscating actual criticism terms in media for whatever technical reason. I have no idea how that works. And somehow you're actively silencing people who disagree with you? Is that?
Oh, that sounds awesome.
That's
I sound
amazing.
like a Machiavellian.
you are a hell of a you're a literature devil. That's exactly what you are.
I guess so. I must be playing like 10D chess or something.
Yeah, your videos must have like work on multiple levels for various people, and they watch it and they get brainwashed and like, oh, I had no idea the word plot actually meant soliloquy or I don't know.
I had no idea chosen minority meant white supremacy.
This is crazy. I can't believe this. This is like accusing your enemies of some obscure plan, some conspiracy to reteach literary terms. Like, what are you talking about?
Tell you what this is. This is like Christmas. This is
Came a bit early this year. Well, we're on video 3, so we're still going strong. This is amazing.
the gift that keeps on giving.
It's like every minute is like, what are you talking about? He's part of a disinformation campaign. Really?
In media, these people damage not only the industries they are a part of.
You are damaging
Not only am I doing all the stuff we just covered, I'm also damaging the industry.
which I guess is the criticism industry. I don't know. The YouTube industry?
I assume the movie and the media industry. Like this video is destroying Hollywood all on its own.
You are technically making videos. That's technically a movie. So yeah, I guess you are. Wow, you got so much power. You're amazing. I gotta read your books, man. Whenever
I am the final boss of someone's RPG.
They damage the ability to meaningfully critique these industries, to critique media itself. It's the exact same reason why reactionaries cause the death of humor.
So you've done 4 things. And I'm not going to reiterate them because they're already insane. But now you're killing humor. You're an anti-comedian. I'm like, that's amazing.
You know, believe it or not, anti-comedy is pretty funny. If you heard any anti-comedy jokes, like the old anti-comedy jokes, they're pretty funny because they're not jokes, but they're set up as jokes. So instead of like it'd be like a dead baby joke. It's like you tell a joke about a baby. And you think, oh, it's going to be okay in the end, but then it just dies. Like basically, it's a joke paired with reality. They take all the humor out of it and pair it with reality.
That sounds pretty dark.
So it's kind of like three Irishmen walk into a bar. Okay, what happens next? Well, 3 Irishmen walk into a bar. They drink all night and die of cirrhosis of the liver. that's anti-humor. It's an anti-joke. It's called an anti-joke.
Okay.
A fat person walks into a candy store. Okay, what happens next? They die of diabetes.
Oh.
They lose their foot due to diabetic. They fall into a diabetic coma. That's what an anti-joke is. Maybe he's talking about that.
I'm sort of scared. Maybe I'm part of this crowd and I didn't know it, and I'm going to start,
Yeah, anti-jokes are great. It's funny. I mean, I haven't seen that humor pop up again, but I'm glad this guy reminded me of it. It was pretty good.
It reminds me of the jokes by Anthony Jeselnik, I think. He's a comedian who is like, he's been doing dark humor for a while. So it sounds like it. I might not be true there. I don't know.
Reactionaries cause the death of media critique. It's because media critique, humor, all of these things flourish in honesty and introspection, in satire, in punching up, in
Okay, so you're not honest. You're not introspective. You're not punching up. Is that a necessity for criticism? I don't think so.
In NPC in the NPC land, punching down and punching up is something that's very important. You're never supposed to punch down unless it's to someone who's, I don't know, against you.
Oh, you mean like say Greta? What's her name? That she sailed the boat to America. You can't attack her. She's
Pretty much.
a girl
Like,
and
So
autistic.
if I have a channel that's like 120,000 subscribers, I can't ever in a million years do a video on someone who made a video that has like half that or something. I can't punch down. You're not allowed to punch down. That's what that means. You're never allowed to punch down. You're only allowed to punch up.
Well, in this case, I only have 15,000. I think he has around 30,000. I am punching up, sir. I
And
am.
he's not allowed to critique you because he has, I guess, 30,000. So
I
if
guess.
you're smaller than him,
There we go.
he can't touch
I'm immaculate. That's you can't touch me.
can't touch this.
Ooh, doo 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 doo. Okay.
Commentary in, well, essentially in progressivism, in all of the characteristics.
Why would you ever want to have commentary on progressivism? I don't. Why would you want to do? I just from literary criticism to progressivism, dude. You're just ruining everything.
Well, that's a job, isn't it? It's kind of like the job.
I think
You gotta
he's-
ruin everything.
I think he's trying to take SJW philosophy, if that is a thing, and saying, well, you know what? The flip side of that is just equally as bad. And anti-SJWism is also destroying media criticism and whatever. And it's like,
Well,
how?
He's literally a neckbeard to me. I mean, he doesn't have a fedora or anything, so he might be saying that. Usually, people who say that are like these neckbeard fedora types. So, yeah, SJW anti-SJWs are just as bad as SJWs. Like, come on, no,
Your critics are just as bad as you. It's like,
yeah, get out of here. You're not helping
that's
anyone.
not how that works, I don't think. I think if someone's criticizing you, they're probably thinking the opposite.
That denote progressive thought, and these people hate those things.
How is criticizing progressive thought a bad thing? Well, how is criticizing anything a bad thing? I don't understand this.
It's not even progressivism. They're bringing back, they're literally bringing back segregation and all kinds of things that we got rid of a long time ago.
We just he accused you of 4 different things. Now you're attacking progressive thought. I was like, I don't get it. It's a freaking video trying to describe how SJWs are bad because of SJW. It's like, wait, or
I mean,
Mary
yeah, they're
Sue's.
progressing. They're very progressive. They're progressing backwards.
It's
Is where
just-
they're going.
I don't follow a line of logic, sir. Just give me something to reference. I'll just.
Like, I'm not really specifically against social justice. I'm against tyranny in general. Like, I don't want that. I don't want big government. I don't want people in power that can control your lives. Tyranny is a big no-no, and you probably should stay away from it.
Okay, but that's different than what you're saying in the video, right? So it's kind of like that's just your personal opinion. This is
Yeah, it's a personal opinion.
yeah. I just don't know where he's going with all this. He's accusing you of like all these things. Like, are you, buddy? Like, calm down. Just, can't be. That can't be all true. Like, just by the number of them, it's like it's doing this and it's doing that and it's white supremacist. It's like, whoa, dude,
That sounds awesome. Like this is Machiavellian.
you are amazing. Don't
I'm the final boss.
follow your rule book in life. When you open your mouth, you got to do 17 different steps. Okay. It was
like
blue
the-
means like 2 different
I'm the
things.
Musashi Miyamoto of YouTube.
If you want to imagine media, video games, movies, comics, comedy in the mind of a reactionary, in a reactionary world, just imagine a group of presumed straight, white dudes with maybe a few exceptions for laughs, sitting on stage, laughing at the expense of other minorities forever.
What the hell does that even
You
mean?
really just do that.
If you want
stepping on the back of the neck.
if you want to criticize a video game, you're stepping on the necks of an orange person or a black person or a purple
I mean,
person.
that's apparently my opinion. Where I'm just making fun of video games and comics and media because they have like women and brown people in them. That's the entire premise of this video apparently.
This is where I'm sort of now I'm getting this dude is so crazy. Like, I can't make a joke. This is getting serious now. He's saying this is what they could do. They could step on the necks of people that they don't like. It's like, What? No, we're just talking about characters and bad writing that have names and terms and historical evidence of what these terms mean.
Like, he's getting so upset with the fact that so many people got upset at this video because I talked about Ray for like 2 minutes. That's why so many people are so angry about this video.
And
I dared to attack their Disney assigned waifu.
And if you're even slightly homosexual, he's going to laugh with you. I was like, what? just because you don't like women or as much as men, it's possible it's okay. Did you get that? I was like, wait a second, you can't. Like, what? That's your criteria? We can't bash you if you might be bisexual or homosexual. I was like, well, sir,
he's just going on assuming I'm white. No, it's like, because according to progressiveness, I'm not. So this is kind of embarrassing for him.
I don't. Yeah, it's new. It's new to me, guys. It was funny at the first 2 attempts at accusing LiteratureDevil of 2D 3D chess, but now it's like, okay, no. You've gone too far. It's
until the end of time.
No.
That's what
the
they
end of
want.
time.
All war games must uncritically take for granted the legitimacy of the American military structure.
No.
To bowl over minorities.
No.
All movies must have either white male protagonists or if they don't, those protagonists have to fit in line with the expectations of how these characters are.
No, you're wrong. Every single thing you said was wrong.
This is a rant on his ideologies. He's speaking from a soapbox while playing my video in the background every once in a while for noise.
Oh my god.
All this because I said your chosen minority of the SJW's chosen minority is usually probably portrayed as somewhere around this wisest, smartest, most misunderstood. Something that's me being all of these weird things, being a white supremacist.
He must have been arguing with a lot of weirdos on Twitter, and he thinks everyone is like that. I think that's it. Because how would you get all this information and make a category or groups of people that say, okay, they want to do this, then they want to do that, then they do this, then this happens, then they destroy this, and they're white supremacist, and they hate the gays. It's like, what, where, how, who, when? It's insane.
Has this guy heard me? I'm pretty sure I talked about Chuck Palahniuk and Bret Easton Ellis and how these are some of my favorite authors. But yeah, apparently I never knew they were gay, so I guess now I don't like them anymore.
Chuck Palahniuk is an amazing writer.
Chuck Palahniuk is great.
Who cares what he does on weekends, people? Leave the man alone. Don't even think about what he does with his genitals. I don't care.
I don't want to know.
I don't want to. No one should know.
Or Bret Easton Ellis. I mean, he likes little people who are like half his age. I mean, he's gay. He's great. Bret Easton Ellis is the author of one of my favorite books of all time, which is American Psycho. He has such a profound. I mean, I listen to his podcast. He has such a profound insight on media and story structure and characterization in movies. I mean, it's fantastic. He is great. He's fantastic.
It's just getting silly.
I wouldn't expect this guy to know that, but he's just assuming.
Supposed to act. That's it. That's all they want from media. An endless parade of the same toy being thrown in front of their gobsmacked, drooling, infantile faces until the end of time. A non-stop procession of samey, unchallenging, unthoughtful, uncritical media pieces designed to cushion them on their path from the cradle to the grave.
Uncritical. I would crush you in an analysis of anything. Pick a book. I'll destroy it.
One thing that people know about my channel is that I'm 100% uncritical. I'm not critical of anything. I don't look deeper into any sort of thing. I just say, oh, this is social justice. This part is woke. This movie's woke. Bye, guys. That's why it takes me a month.
Yeah,
it takes me a month to produce a video.
By the sheer fact that we use objective observations and we don't use our own personal biases to criticize something is one of the first steps for criticism. This guy sees everything in certain colors that have to have a minority group or representation or is inclusive to sexuality of certain flavors. It's like, that's not good writing. That doesn't make good writing. That's like saying you need all these spices, and it's like, no, you don't. You don't need all this crap.
You don't actually. You just need the spices you need to make the dish taste good. Any more of any certain spice, it'll ruin the dish. Any extra spices might actually ruin it altogether.
It's just insane. I would like to see his criteria for a good book, and I'll use it. I will take his criteria. I'll write a short story with it, and I will try and make it good. I can promise I'll know what I'm doing, but I can't promise I won't be forcing certain things because of the criteria, because I'm forced to use, I don't know, a midget, homosexual, whatever, minority, right?
Midget, homosexual in a wheelchair.
Yeah, it's going to be very awkward. Like, how do I make this guy believable? I don't.
That could be a good writing practice, actually. Good writing.
Take horrible concepts, smash them together, and try to make them believable. That's tough, yeah, because you don't come from that start. You don't start with that. You say, I need a character who has a flaw. And how do they get that flaw? They're in a wheelchair. How they got in the wheelchair? They got into an accident. How they got in the accident? Blah, 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 blah. And keep going until it makes sense.
They're daredevil. Like, they're a daredevil. So they like to jump over cars and stuff. And they had an accident. Now they're in the wheelchair. So,
and if you make any specific description about their race or gender, it would be good if that was a sticking point to their character. Like their culture, where they come from, their dialogue, how they sound, if they're patois or whatever, it has that sort of sounds. Okay, well, yeah, great. They're from South Africa, somewhere. Great, cool.
Here's a small example. If anyone in the chat has read American Gods by Neil Gaiman, the main character, Shadow, what do you picture when you think of Shadow? I mean, Shadow, his name is Shadow, I think.
Shadow Moon.
Shadow Moon. Isn't he black?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it doesn't come out, like, it's not something that is like smothered in your face. Yeah, it's something that's kind of mentioned.
And in the if guys want to be spoiled here, Shadow Moon, the original character, supposedly is based off of a not Nordic. It's Balder, the god Balder, which is definitely not black. So Neil Gaiman does that all the time. He mixes and matches his mythology, and that's what he's known for. He's very good at that. That's his thing, as it were.
Yeah, that's his niche. He's very good at it.
Bread and butter, yeah. So whether he's black or white makes no difference. We don't care. Would it make sense if a god who's forgotten his memory or forgotten his past started off in the geographic as well as genetic background that people originated from? Maybe. Not necessarily. Doesn't bother me.
I don't need it.
No.
It would be unless it's plot relevant or something.
Yeah, like some of the gods are Eastern European or Slavic. It's like, okay, yeah, I give them an accent. It looks kind of Slavic, kind of Ukrainian-ish, That's fine. But Balder, yeah, he could be. Doesn't matter. I don't care. It doesn't matter. Now, with some of the other gods, yeah, it would matter. You want... I'm trying to remember the names. But they're basically African gods. So, yeah, make them black. Of course. Do that. Perfect. Nothing wrong with that. Same with the iterations of Jesus. You want those characters to be ethnically based. The Mexican Jesus, make it Mexican. Great. Fantastic.
If he's a black Jesus, then have him be black.
Better damn well be black. That'd be really awkward if he wasn't.
Like, if they made a live-action movie of Afro Samurai, I would want the main character to be black with an afro. If they made him white, I would be very angry.
Kind of hard to give a white guy an afro unless you really try. Yeah.
I mean, some white people can grow afros.
It's true.
It just looks kind of
very hard. Yeah. lots of the spray and.
Like, if they made Afro Samurai white, I would not watch that. It would be complete garbage.
The name would be contradictory.
Yeah.
They want to die cozy in their little fucking shit-stained, piss-soaked safety blanket that they've held on to since they were first old enough to watch a movie or hold up a game controller.
What is wrong with this man?
Like, now I have a safety blanket. Like, I'm this awesome, like, end game boss, but I have a safety blanket.
This is borderline sad. Like he's just projecting this image of they did this when they were young and they saw a movie and they shit themselves and this is their world. It's all crap. It's like, dude,
This seems like projection to me a little bit.
just maybe, yeah, a little bit of projection there, yeah, 1%. I'm sure everything he's anecdoting is evidential. He's all experienced this. He's met people like this. It's ooh.
And they want that to be the only thing possible. Even though there's media enough out there right now that they could do that if they wanted to, it's not enough that they be able to. They have to have no other choice. This has to...
Who says who? Are we the authority on media? No. We're not saying you can't do it. We're just saying it's not going to work out really well for you if you do.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying.
It's like we don't care about every genre of manga out there. I don't even read 90% of them because they're not interesting to me. But I certainly don't bash them because I don't like them.
Yeah, I stay away from like slice of life because there's not enough murder, and I tend to stay away from isekai because it's isekai, and I'm not really into that particular genre. So yeah, I mean, I have my own favorite genres. I'm not going to dive into something I don't like. I might criticize it if I research it enough, but it's not about me destroying things. Not about me taking down things. It's about me looking into something and exploring the elements and the building blocks of it.
Yeah, one of the basic thought, or we talk about classic analysis or thought in the Greek terms. There's the romantic and the classical sense. The classical is more of the I guess the rhetoric, I don't know, you could call it dialectic as well. It depends on what you're talking about. But the logical, the practical, the evidential, the Aristotelian way. And the other way is there's the romantic, the emotional, the symbolic. And everyone has its own place. And usually we use the scalpel, the fine scalpel of the classical view to cut through things and see what's in between. The form. The cause of certain stories. So we look at, where does Ray come from? We look at where does Luke come from? How did this happen, etc. We have to find the foundation. And then once we have a reason or a meaning behind it, this is the meaning. It could be more. You could read into that, but we're not saying that's what it is. We're saying this is the surface level, and you can read into more because it allows the narrative allows you to do that. There's a time skip which says, we're not sure exactly what happened, but he gained some skills. He did this, he did that. With the romantic side of things, it's, look, it's big and it's flashy and it looks cool and there was music and I loved it. It's like, great. Glad you had that great time. What else was there? Nothing. That was it. That's the surface level. That's all. And sometimes they're right. Sometimes that's all there is. Sometimes Star Wars is just a cigar, right? It's just a...
Yeah, sometimes a cigar is just a cigar.
That's all it is. Sometimes, and I would agree, half the time it is, because it's supposed to be melodramatic. That's what sci-fi blockbusters usually are, especially in the space opera genre.
Yeah, you don't need every movie. Not every movie needs to be Citizen Kane or The Godfather.
Exactly. But when you actually take an established franchise and you start doing something new, things are going to get a little cross-wired. You're going to go, hey, whoa, that's not right. What? That's not how lightsabers work. That's not how lightspeed works. What's going on? You're screwing stuff up. And to incorporate all that crap into one movie, we're going to be talking about Last Jedi for decades.
It's a legendary
screw-up. It is epic. The stuff in it is so... Every single scene has a problem on some level. And we're not saying, the cinematography sucks, the lighting sucks. No, it's pretty good.
I mean, it's like Rian Johnson was a movie writer. They brought in from a spam letter or something. Hey, give me $5,000. I write your movie for you.
They brought in a fanfic writer who was really passionate and had the same agenda as they did, and they did not criticize him. They did not get a good editor to bash him. They just ran with whatever he did. There was no lore expert. There was no team of experts that knew all the backstory of all the movies and all the... No, just go.
And they call you a bigot for not liking it because, again, Mary Sue combined with social justice agenda makes the movie both invulnerable from criticism because any critic will be completely destroyed or disowned or whatever. And then they will take that and then we'll continue the franchise in that same manner.
And there's been like studies of all the characters. The one with Holdo, I think they've been writing. I don't know which comics it was, but there was stories where Holdo was awesome. Holdo is doing all these amazing things, and we didn't get that in the movie. We didn't get this really powerful character who's smart and witty, and that's how she's able to make this rank in the rebellion. No, doesn't talk to anyone, hates everyone, or at least the boys.
As far as we know, she's just some person who's in charge who smokes a lot of drugs or something. Because she was on something. I mean, there's no way she was sober during this movie. She was on something.
We didn't get the characters that were supposed to be there.
I don't know, was it Wookiee marijuana? I don't know, but she was a weird character, and it would have been way better.
Yeah,
and she'd not been in the movie at all, and it would have been with the Admiral Akbar.
And this has nothing to do of her being a white older woman. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. I mean, if the only criteria was that she's female, it's like, what do you no? If it was a white guy, it was Captain frickin' Picard. They got Jean-Luc to play it. It's like, yeah, he'd be horrible. He'd say his lines. He'd be like, "What the hell? Why aren't you trusting Poe?" What?
Or Jean-Luc Picard in a purple wig, he'd still be horrible.
Whatever. Yeah, I don't care. I just put put any white guy up there. I don't care. I just like it would not make sense. But no, we're white supremacists.
Be the only way.
This man believes this. Reactionaries think this way. No one thinks this way. No one I've talked to, heard about, thinks this way. Maybe no bullshit. Maybe that guy is a little.
Maybe I think he has actually some bigotry in him. Like, yeah, I think he's
possibly.
He might be anti-Semitic. He might be anti-Semitic.
There's something there that he's really against. I could see that, but not all the things that Vaush is describing here. That's all that criteria. No way. It's insane. We might be advocating for good writing, and as a result of that, get rid of all your politic crap. Get rid of all this unnecessary stuff. And that would imply, sexism and feminism and having a bisexual person, because why would you need a bisexual person if you're telling a story about a character who's trying to save the day? His sexuality has nothing to do with that. Why even bring it up?
Unless it becomes a plot point.
Unless
sexuality, anything you shouldn't bring up anything unless it's a plot point or has something to do with the story. It includes any kind of sexuality, including straight. I don't care.
Do not describe anything unless it's necessary. Exactly. Oh, it's a boring story. There's no character. There's all kinds of character if you know how to write a character. Give them a motivation that we can understand. Show them struggle. Show them struggle trying to achieve things. Then you can go crazy with their relationships and side characters who want to support them, who like them or don't like them, and all the interpersonal problems. Great, yeah. Give them a plot, give them character flaws, give them a climax they have to achieve and defeat the antagonist with. Great, fine, do it. We don't care if they're female or whatever they like to do with their off time. We don't care. I can't believe we have to keep repeating ourselves.
He keeps bringing it up.
Yeah, it's bizarre. It's like, oh, these guys don't like gays. It's like...
He watches the video. I mean, he's watching the video, and then he pauses it to go on a tangent about white supremacy and all kinds of weird stuff.
Yeah, I'm getting kind of tired constantly reiterating. We don't...
It's really cool though that I'm now this Machiavellian emboss.
Yeah, you're amazing, buddy. I gotta watch more of your videos. Maybe it'll rub off on me or something.
He is the wisest, smartest, most misunderstood, and most productive people despite being savagely oppressed. America is portrayed as treating women and minorities like Jews in Nazi Germany. Anyone who holds opinions you don't agree with is a literal Nazi, and the universe of an SJW story bends to justify anything their character does.
You hear how fucking hysterical this sounds, by the way?
No.
Well, you have me sped up, so...
Oh, that technically? Okay, well, you are talking faster, but...
There.
America's basically Nazi Germany. Okay, that's the depiction of the First Order. Anyone with an opposing opinion is a literal Nazi. Well, just go to Twitter.
Yes, go anywhere. Go anywhere. Any outlet of news or any sort of media. Anyone who does not fall in completely with the social justice philosophy, if you want to call it that, is considered a literal Nazi. That's where the hashtag punch Nazis came from. They want to punch you. They want to call you Nazi so they can punch you. But you're not really a Nazi. You're more like someone who doesn't agree with them. but they call you a Nazi for not agreeing with them. Like people who fought Nazis would be Nazis today under these criteria.
I'm trying to remember the Italian author who actually described fascism because of its Italian fascism and the flavors therein, and he had a big list of what it means to be a fascist. And I doubt any of these people have read this book or even agree with it if they did, because it's so specific. And it's just ridiculous to call people these political terms. It's a huge loaded word, and to call someone a Nazi is insane. It's like, I don't believe in social, ideologies, let alone totalitarian ones. It's like, how would an individual even conceive of that? And if you were a Nazi, all you would say is, I believe in Nazi Germany, not actual political definitions and economic policies. Like, it's an individual. Are they going to make their own country? It's stupid.
I didn't even make these up. These are things I've seen happen in media and on Twitter and the news. One of the fantasies of social justice is that the America that they are fighting against, is basically Nazi Germany. They want to say that racism is now worse against minorities than it was during the times of slavery. They want to pretend that there's going to be Gestapo coming around and taking away women's rights and all that stuff. They want to paint America as Nazi Germany, so they have a moral enemy to battle against. But it's just not true. But it's true in their eyes. Anyone who opposes them, of course, is a literal Nazi, not a figurative Nazi, a literal Nazi. They call you a Nazi for not agreeing with them.
Here, I found the link to the book. It's by an Italian by name of Gentile.
It's awesome.
Yeah, I actually dated a girl who did her thesis on what was the genocide of... I can't remember the genocide, but it was like 4 million people in Eastern Europe. But she studied this book as well. So it always talks about genocide and what have you. So that came up, and she was a left-leaning person, and she would talk about those things, and I'd be like, oh, this is fascinating. But she also got caught up in the political spirit of the day and called, well, these are what Nazis would do. It's like, really? Really? You studied this? And like, give me the book. Let's actually go over the list. We never did that, of course, because you never argue with the woman. But
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Even someone who's well read got caught up in the politics of the day. So this is what this person is doing on the screen. He is in his own little world of thinking what others are. The Caton Forest Massacre. No, this. What's the Young Turks? That massacre that.
Oh yeah, the Armenian massacre.
Armenian massacre. Thank you. That's the one. That's the one that she did a thesis on. So anyway, little bit thing about my personal life. Let's just keep going.
So he still hasn't given a single example of a modern like SJW Mary Sue, even though we're nearly 2/3 the way into the videos. And he is giving such a wildly hyperbolic description of what the SJW Mary Sue agenda is that nothing, literally no piece of media could possibly meet it. But damned if he's not going to try.
I don't think you're saying every single thing equals a movie.
No, this is not even an exhaustive list. It's not even a list of things that... All these things don't have to necessarily be in a movie to be the SJW Sue's fantasy. It's just, these are just examples of what they kind of play out.
And
these are hints.
Yeah, we can look at individual points for individual movies. That's fine.
I think I said it plays out the SJW Sue's fantasy, like the bias of the writer, which is like all good men are gay and submissive, straight white men are evil, etc.
Yeah, it's... I think he interpreted it as like, this is what happens in all these movies. Like, no, I don't think so. I don't think that's what he was trying to say.
That's not what I was trying to say at all. It's just SJW Sue's... it plays an SJW person's fantasy. That's what an SJW Sue does.
Right.
So it's an author's power fantasy, but an author's power fantasy coupled with their SJW NPC biases.
Rey from the new Star Wars trilogy is probably the...
Yeah.
Okay, so he was just finished saying... He didn't even give us one example. The next
thing is an example.
Is an example.
most mainstream of SJW Mary Sue's. Her character is devoid of imagination, has no
But Watch, by the way, watches all of these are completely subjective or outright incorrect assessments. No imagination? What the fuck does that mean? No personality.
She's Luke Skywalker, but a woman. That's it. That's her whole character.
How is she creative in solving any problem?
She's not creative. She has no imagination. There's no imagination went to creating her, and there's no imagination in her character being acted out.
Let's look how she creatively solves problems. She pulls out a compressor. She's not making something. She's not inventing. Like being creative means you're creating something. She's removing something. She sees a problem. She pulls a problem out or a mistake that's in there, and it works. And Han Solo's like, what? How did this happen? She has no idea how she did this. She was with Finn just previously saying, I don't know how I did that. How did this work? Blah, 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 blah. She doesn't know what's going on. She has no idea how the Force works. She has no idea how she can snipe people with a pistol. She has no idea how she can fly, etc., etc., etc. She has nothing happening upstairs. She is not inventing a lockpick. She's not doing this or that. The Force just comes through her when she needs it. She can fight with a lightsaber, no problem. She breaks things by just meditating.
She sits on the ground, meditates for a few minutes, and breaks the entire mountain.
She thinks the Force is about lifting rocks. What happens at the end of the movie? She lifts a mountain. No training.
And what is her personality? Can someone explain this to me? What is Rey's personality? What is her personality type? Like, she's a blank slate.
She's British. That's all I know.
She's just British. She has as much personality as Queen Amidala, maybe even less.
Oh, well. Comparing those two characters is not a good... It's not... It's like nothing versus nothing.
Personality? That's objectively wrong. She has personality.
Everything is subjectively wrong. That's why it's subjective. You're subjectively right. Well, you're subjectively wrong. You said something subjective. That's wrong. I like candy. I don't like candy.
Therefore, you're wrong.
What? Thank you for admitting it's subjective. Yes, everything. You could sit there. I could say like water is wet. That you could tell me that's subjectively wrong. Water is hard. That's subjectively wrong. Like, okay. Can we be more specific? No, you're just wrong. Okay.
You know who didn't really have that much personality compared to Rey?
Is he going to say Luke? Please, I hope he says Luke. I hope he says Luke. See if he says Luke.
Luke fucking Skywalker.
Ah ha!
Who saw that coming,
He has no idea what he's talking about. He has no idea. Every time he's tried to dive into characterization, it's become clearer and clearer that he has no idea what he's talking about. Because he gives no standards of why these things are. Luke Skywalker has infinitely more characterization and personality than Rey does because he actually has a personality.
He is the everyman trope, and he describes his desires as soon as we meet him. What he wants to do, what he gets caught up in, how he wants to help his friends, how he's willing to stop his training just to go off to stop the worst person in the universe. And he ends up getting captured and has to get saved by his friends. He loses an arm in the process. He risks himself. He's a hero. He's optimistic. He doesn't want to avenge his family, although maybe that's part of his motivation. He wants to save his dad. What does Rey want to do? She wants to wait around for her parents, and then she wants to ask Luke what's going on. That's it. She has a vision that maybe she can turn Kylo good, even though she hates him.
There's things around her that are happening. Like she has things that we're told she wants to do, but she doesn't really have any kind of personality.
Yeah, Luke starts off really naive, and he sort of grows up as he goes. He gets saved a lot. Han saves him at the last minute. What's his name has to get into his head to fire off those torpedoes to blow up the Death Star. he's not perfect. He has flaws. He may be guided by a spiritual force, but he has very little control over it yet. He's growing. We see that as the story progresses. He gets stronger.
He goes through the hero's journey.
There we go.
Rey just starts off at the end. She's already powerful.
Go watch the original trilogy. Luke Skywalker does not have much personality at all, and the personality that he does have is fucking annoying, whiny child.
Oh, so he has a personality.
Oh, so he does have a personality. Okay, thank you. He has no personality. Oh, wait. His personality is annoying, whiny child. Oh, so, yeah. Okay. He has no personality except for the personality that he has.
Yep. Perfect. Makes perfect sense. Yeah.
This lines up with all the points he has been making. Like, LiteratureDevil is wrong, except that he's right.
Can he describe Rey's personality? Just,
Yeah, does this give to me... What is Rey's personality, Mr. Vaush? What is Rey's personality? Can you list some personality traits?
Is she kind?
You just listed a few of what Luke's personality traits were.
No personality to speak of, and according to the people who work on modern Star Wars, is completely without weaknesses.
What the fuck is this?
Eric Kane from Forbes. I guess he doesn't know that, but okay.
Eric Kane contributor? Daisy Ridley says Rey has no weaknesses. Out of curiosity, let's take a look at what this means. Here, hold on.
You don't have to look it up. I bring it back around.
Vaush, these people destroy the very industries they love. Their constant bitching and relentless bitching about anything even slightly challenging is the reason why pop culture is not taken seriously. Yeah, these people kill industries. I'm reminded.
You are amazing.
Killing an industry. Me by myself. I'm killing an entire industry.
You are.
I'm a legitimate supervillain.
The next video, I do not like this toothpaste. Gone. Colgate dead tomorrow. Stock drops 5%. Okay.
Reminded of hold on one second. Okay, Star Wars star Daisy Ridley. Nice. So, first of all, I like how this guy is pretending that the opinion of an actor who plays a character is sufficient to determine the perspective of the writers on.
Why not? They are.
She's closer to the writers than you are.
She's the actual conduit for the writer's words. She
is Rey.
She is the literal personification of Rey. Don't you think she might have some insight into her motivations? That's one of the first questions an actor asks a producer. What's my motivation in this scene? What am I trying? What emotion do you want from me? I'm an actor. Show me the way. What should I say? How should I say it? Where do I stand? What do I wear? Etc. Does this guy not know what acting is? How?
Anakin Sky, what's his name? Hayden Christensen went through a lot of that when he worked with George Lucas. He had to know what George Lucas wanted Anakin to be.
It's not supposed to be some deep understanding, because Daisy really obviously does not know too much about writing, etc. She's said some weird things about Mary Sue's, but she has insight into her character the same way. Like, you remember those Game of Thrones stars that they would get on screen, I don't know, through episode or season 3 or 4. They say, well, this is what really my character was going through. Like, they were really enthusiastic about their role. It's like, yeah, that's a good actress. She wants to communicate what's going through her head. You don't think Daisy really might have some insight into her own character? Really?
You kind of need to have that if you're going to act the character. And she's playing Rey as if she has no weaknesses.
Gee, I guess that's her response, huh?
She doesn't care. That doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Weaknesses. By the way, I can tell you how many times I've heard blank has no weaknesses described positively about other characters, like
such as
on both hands.
Okay, who?
What are you talking about?
All this led to
who's
some
described as having
detractors
no
calling Rey a Mary Sue. Daisy Ridley isn't doing her character any favors by saying Rey has no weaknesses. Goes in detail how she doesn't... Wait. Live event where she goes into some detail about her worldview and how she doesn't really view weaknesses in people as actual weaknesses at all. I don't really believe in weaknesses in people, Ridley said, because I think you can't decide what's good and what's bad in a person because everything makes the whole, and the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. Nice! So here's what this person said. So this person said, even the people who worked on Star Wars said that Rey has no weaknesses.
I actually bring that exact quote back around. He just thought that was a win. I think, what a cop-out. That is a cop-out. That is a weak cop-out. Trying to rationalize why Rey is a Mary Sue. Oh, she has no weaknesses because I don't believe in weaknesses in people. Yeah, she has no weaknesses because she has no weaknesses because she is a Mary Sue. That's a really weak cop-out.
And as we said, Daisy Ridley, not the sharpest tack when it comes to literary terms. So read in what you will, but that's exactly what she said. So.
But what that actually turned out to be was the actress who played Rey said she doesn't believe that people in general have weaknesses because all their character faults are part of a broader whole that is contextually more complete than it would be without the weaknesses.
So they do have weaknesses. Thank you. What the hell is this guy saying?
And she worked on the movie, so yeah. I didn't say writer specifically. I said people who worked on the movie. And believe it or not, this might come as a surprise to people, but Daisy Ridley worked on the movie. She was actually in it. If you actually watch it, you can probably spot her at one point.
This is Now, if you don't know Eric Kane, we did a few response videos to Eric Kane's posts a few months back, and he does not believe Rey is a Mary Sue. That's fine. He can believe.
He actually doesn't.
Yeah.
He actually doesn't.
That's fine. He can believe whatever he likes. But we're not talking about Eric Kane. We're talking about Daisy Ridley.
Nice! Very fucking honest, my duderino. Damn! You'd think that, got excellent example of the people who worked on Star Wars taking it down. I love the fact that I can, with 100% reliability, know for a fact when the people who make these videos are lying. It's so easy to me. I can just...
Yeah, it's because anything you say you disagree with. It's a lie.
Everything he disagrees with is a lie.
Or you're stupid. Or you're...
Daisy Ridley worked on Star Wars. She said Rey has no weaknesses. And she followed it up with a cop-out as saying, well, I just don't believe in weaknesses in people. Like, what kind of answer is that? She has no weaknesses because she's a Mary Sue. She's trying to save face by saying that. I mean, it's a really big cop-out. So where was the lie?
My fucking sonar detects it. My alarm goes off in my head. This is a horse shit point, and this person is being dishonest. And I'm always right, because they're very dumb.
He's always right, because we're very dumb. He's always right. Always.
He's been wrong, like...
every other sentence.
Every point he's made has been wrong, including this one.
This isn't about me, it's about them.
No. You're just putting a performance on because... emotions.
Part in particular is pushed as a virtue rather than a dirty writing sin. They made her the perfect feminist role model instead of a relatable character.
How? Wait, in what way did they make her a perfect feminist role model?
Humanity.
She's a Mary Sue.
I can only guess that her lack of weaknesses was to make her an inspiration to little girls.
No, she had character flaws described in the movie. Again, the lack of weakness.
You can describe as many character flaws as you want. She doesn't have them, though. You could say she has 10,000 character flaws, but she doesn't have them in the movie.
Even if she did have them in the movie, if they don't amount to an arc, a climax where things change and her ideology changes, it means nothing. Like, she could be bad around people, but again, if that is not part of her growing as a character, who cares? It's, you could bloat up someone with all these flaws, but if they don't interact with that flaw throughout the plot, who cares? But yeah, which flaw? Hopefully he'll tell us, because apparently it was listed in the movie. So he has.
Last time he said she was cowardly. Last time he listed like cowardly, a couple other things that don't pertain to Rey. So I wonder what he says this time.
How is she cowardly?
She isn't.
When did she get scared?
She doesn't display one instance of cowardice, ever.
I think she's hesitant. I think she's amazed when she gets about to get shot by 2 stormtroopers, but she's shaking her gun, but then it's over and she's like, "Oh, what was that? I'm amazing. How did that happen?"
Was something said in a blog or some interview by the actress who said she doesn't believe characters in general have weaknesses. So you really can't use that as an example because it really has nothing to do with your point, my Deuterino.
Which only makes sense if you don't know what a role model actually is. Unless you think a person who's never had a problem walking would make...
Saitama is by no means a Mary Sue. Being incredibly powerful is not enough to make you a Mary Sue. The entire story exists to critique Saitama.
Yeah, I agree with that. Saitama's not a Mary Sue. Actually, that's why I list out all the things that people think are Mary Sues. That being extraordinarily powerful doesn't make you a Mary Sue.
That's true. Yeah.
That's why people think being extraordinarily powerful makes you Mary Sue, but actually doesn't. So we agree on that point. But then again, he called like Superman and Batman Mary Sues because they were extraordinarily powerful and like paragons.
I actually got a Twitter reply about the Silver Age of Superman. Now we know that Superman is not like perfect in every way. He was trying to say that during the Silver Age he was, and I'm sure there were some comics where he was, but there were plenty of scenes where Superman gets his ass handed to him.
Yeah.
Like you need to write characters or oppositions to your main character that they can't overcome. That's what you do with conflict. If there was no conflict, wouldn't be a story. So however you write your opposition, obviously they have to be greater than the protagonist is trying to overcome. That's standard stuff. So we expect that. I wouldn't have to read a Silver Age comic to find that out. It's just like, yeah, obviously.
And the model by which he exists.
A great role model for people who are stuck in wheelchairs because he doesn't have any trouble walking. Or a skinny person who's never been fat in their entire lives would make a great role model for people trying to lose weight because he doesn't have a weight problem. But what really flags her as a Mary Sue is not her ability to live alone or single-handedly fight off enemies twice.
Whoa. Hold on. Now, okay, wait. So now we're giving specific examples. So here are things that are warning signs for her being a Mary Sue. Being able...
No, he's saying what would make a good role
Mary
model.
Sue not for... Do you not know what not means?
You just finished describing what would make a good role model. A guy who was in a wheelchair and then became really strong, etc. Or can run, right? Or someone who was huge and fat and now they're muscular, right? They have achieved. They have gone through conflict. They have...
Those are role models.
Yes, exactly.
If a person became a drug addict and got addicted to heroin, and then managed to fight their way through it and became clean, that would be a role model to people who are addicted to heroin.
Yes,
because they know that this is a person who went through what they were going through and came out the other side. And that's a role model.
Yeah. And now we're showing Mary Sue not for role models. Yeah. So.
Yeah. That's why I'm saying Rey's not a role model because. They pushed her as a role model in the media campaigns, like huge. Like she was a role model for little girls everywhere, even inside the movie. And she's not one. Just because she's a woman and strong at the same time doesn't make her a role model. She has to actually go through things to be a role model. She actually has to overcome obstacles so that she can inspire people to, when they run into similar obstacles, they know that they can think on Rey and be inspired to overcome those obstacles when they themselves encounter them. Rey is just awesome from the get-go. No one can actually download knowledge from someone by bumping heads with them or something.
Except for Rey.
Except for Rey.
Live alone. Okay.
What's with the creepy up close?
Honestly, I think half of this is a performance. If not, maybe 90%, but half the time it's like he's just joking around. He doesn't like what you have to say. He's going to blow it up out of proportion. I think that's his thing.
Enemies, like every action hero ever in every movie ever made about fighting off. Holy shit, no one would give a fuck about this in John Wick if he fought off some giant burly dudes. Or in fucking Daniel Craig's, I think it was Quantum of Solace, where he was locked in the...
John Wick does beat up like this enormous guy in 3, and he gets beat up quite a bit so that you could bring him down.
John Wick nearly dies half the time.
He gets brutalized like in every scene. And it's just... He's just a man of focus, which is why he's able to succeed.
He happens to be very, very good, probably one of the best, but he's still human. He gets shot, he gets stabbed, etc. He's not immortal.
If Ray went up against a gigantic person compared to her, she just beat him up really easily and move on to the next guy.
Yeah, pretty much.
Elevator, and he was handcuffed, and he took down 3 or 4 larger, heavily armed guards that were escorting him from one part of the facility to the other. Was that Quantum of Solace, or was it the other one? I don't fucking know. They're all the same. No one complains about this when it's men who do it.
Exercise, or fix the Millennium Falcon better than its owner can. I'm not even going to dock her for being born to space trash parents.
Okay, so fixing the Millennium Falcon was something she was only able to do because she worked with the junkyard boss who made alterations to the ship.
Okay, one, if you work at a junkyard, or sorry, if you're a junker, you pick up junk from random crap. That doesn't mean you know how it works. It's like saying I'm in a junkyard full of computer parts and suddenly I can fix a computer from 30 years ago when I'm only 21 or whatever. Big difference between things that work and things that are broken or actual literal junk.
Second, even if you talk to mechanics, even mechanics who work on cars, they have specifics. They have like specialities. Like they can work on maybe a Honda. They're really good at working on Hondas. They're not really good at working on Nissans, for example.
Yeah.
Like they say, I have no idea how Nissan works. Bring me a Honda, I'll do it. So even mechanics, even people who fix things for a living, can't necessarily fix every single car.
And secondly, yeah, this old ship, this old freighter that's God knows how old, was modified and customized, which he would have zero knowledge of. So
I mean, if he could, so this is the same thing. Would be she works on like 2019 models, and therefore she can fix a Model T.
Yeah, it's like she works in a car junk place or whatever. She finds all these Mazda parts, and then all of a sudden there's a 1980 Saab with turbocharger, and it's like she just knows how it works. Never driven it, never worked on a working one before, never started the engine, just she can fix it. She can fix the turbocharger. Boom.
So it's not as though she knew it better than fucking Han Solo.
But she did.
She did. She knew exactly what to do way better than he did.
She solved the problem that he couldn't. His own ship that he knows back and front, minus obviously the modifications that happened.
It's not something that he didn't think about, like in the original trilogy. Like, oh yeah, I should probably check that. It's something that he didn't know about at all.
But she did.
Like, I'm gonna do this. Yeah, I'm gonna just do this, and it's gonna fix everything. And he's like, whoa, that's interesting. I never knew that.
She was familiar with those alterations more because she was present with the person who made the alterations.
No, she wasn't. She might have talked
since when?
Yeah, she might have talked to the guy behind the counter who was giving him her food, but they didn't have like a friendly conversation. Hey, by the way, you know that ship over there? I modified it. Really? What did you do, sir?
Let me tell you how.
Yeah, well, I did this and that and this, and they had this gigantic conversation that lasted 2 weeks about how to do this. And all the parts and how it works and how it runs.
Now, if she worked for the guy who owned the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah, there we go. That would work.
And she was a maintenance person and fixed the ships that he was trying to sell. Okay, yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah,
that would make sense.
With Han, his dad actually built or ran the ships, I think. How that makes him a pilot of a ship is not very believable, but at least there's something to say that Han, yeah, okay, that his dad ran the ships or made the ships or whatever Han's backstory was. It still didn't make too much sense, but it's much better than Rey being a junker that talked to a guy who did something to a ship she never saw, about technology she's never used. This is retarded.
Somehow he's thinking that all this list is me pointing out traits that make her Mary Sue, despite the fact that I have Mary Sue not for these things. Because these are the things that some people might ascribe to her being a Mary Sue, which flicks Millennium Falcon. It does make her Mary Sue to an extent, but that by itself, not necessarily. I could see her fixing the Millennium Falcon because she was in the junk trade, but doing it better than Han Solo, that's a little bit too much. But basically, I'm calling her Mary Sue because that and a whole bunch of other things put together.
She would have to, in order for her not to be a Mary Sue in that instance, she'd be like, oh, I know this thing. This is this part that compresses this and that. And all she really did was pull it out. She didn't actually do something complicated. So that was kind of I would give it to her as a gopher, just like, oh, or a gimme, a mulligan, just like, oh, yeah, take it. Yeah, you just pulled something out. You got lucky, right?
Yeah, but it's part of a pattern.
Yeah, exactly. The writing pattern of crap that she just solves problems. A problem appears and boom, it's gone.
And space trash parents, how the fuck does that make you a Mary Sue?
We don't know why she's so strong and so smart and so capable. She's by herself. How did she learn to fight? Did she have a stick teacher? Did someone come by and they traded food and taught her how to fight?
That's why I always say it's so easy. A lot of these things would be explained if she were like an abandoned Padawan.
Exactly. If she had a backstory where she had martial arts skills, she had technical skills, she could talk to droids, she had Wookiee knowledge, she, I don't know, knew how to survive in a desert by herself. Like all this stuff. Yeah, explain it to us.
An abandoned Padawan who is making ends meet by working for a junk dealer, like a person who sells ships. I mean, that would fix a lot of things, a lot of problems with this Mary Sue Ray.
Anything, I would take anything really. She worked as a slave, as one the hut owner or something. You know,
pretty much anything, because they gave us pretty much nothing.
Nothing, exactly. We saw her as a little girl screaming as a ship took off and someone was pulling her away. That was it.
Having parents who aren't special, isn't that an argument against being a Mary Sue?
No. It's something. We could then iterate and say, okay, maybe born from gods, kind of special. Yeah, she has a gift.
Like, why is she the hero? Why is Luke's lightsaber specifically calling out to her? Why is she the special person? If there was an explanation as to why she's so special, why she's the center of the Force Awakens,
exactly,
then we would have something to grasp onto. But she's just awesome.
We don't care how good she is at something. We want to know how. That's it. If she can move planets with her mind, explain us, show us how and how it's possible. Where it came from, because we know Force users can't move planets with their minds. It's that simple. We just explain it, show it. That's it.
It's the fact that the universe just gives her everything. I mean, they stop at a bar that just so happens to have Luke Skywalker's lightsaber. Not a lightsaber, but Luke's lightsaber.
What? They don't just stop at that bar. They deliberately go to that bar because Han Solo...
What? I love his hyperbolic reactions.
How could they go to this bar?
This bar? They didn't stop at a bar. They stopped at that bar. Wait. They didn't stop at that bar. They kind of landed and then walked into the bar and kept moving inside the bar, but they never stopped. I mean, come on.
Okay, he's getting hyperbolic just for the sake of it.
Has a connection with that woman who has the lightsaber. Han Solo specifically knew that she would have memorabilia from that. What the fuck? What?
Okay, so Han, I'm trying to remember the movie. Han knew the lightsaber was there, or stuff.
I don't think so. He had a connection there, which is why they went there. But I think the lightsaber just so happened to be there. Like, it's just something that, okay, we needed her to get a lightsaber, so she's gonna find it in the back room because it was never mentioned.
Was Han like, hey, there's some stuff from my friend Luke that you might need? Is that what he said?
I don't think so.
Yeah, what the hell is she talking about?
I think they stopped there because she might have knowledge on where Luke is, but they never mentioned his lightsaber, as far as I remember.
Or his stuff. Or his anything. Stuff. Like a chest with stuff.
Happens to be there, calling out to Rey. An inanimate object calling out to Rey because she's so awesome and special.
Notice how this lightsaber would have a stronger connection to Luke, and that Luke, it never called out to Luke. It would just sort of hand it to him as a tool, not as a special thing.
Yeah, and again, it would make sense if she were like the child of Luke Skywalker or someone, because then, oh, okay. I mean, the lightsaber calling to her is dumb, but it would make sense because she's part of the Skywalker bloodline.
Yeah, and the only time inanimate objects did this were like holocrons, like actual storehouses of a Jedi or a Sith that literally had their persona stored in there in some capacity. But the thing is, only Force users could connect with that. It had to be someone very skilled in the Force to able to derive that knowledge from it. So an inanimate object, which is a weapon, which has a crystal which resonates with the previous owner. That's how. Well, there's a whole process of getting your crystals. it wouldn't call out to some random person who may happen to be force sensitive. It just, why?
And there's no reason,
Yeah,
no explanation as to why.
If there was an explanation, great, but we never get one.
Even if that wasn't the case, this would just be bad writing. This wouldn't be a.
It is bad writing.
Thank you. That's why I pointed out. It's bad writing. What do you think I'm talking about?
Jesus. No, Mary Sue is a good writing technique. Yeah.
Mary Sue is a product of good writing.
Fantastic.
Obviously.
Glad you're paying attention here, sir.
Mary Sue. There are tons of plot contrivances and stories all over the place. It doesn't mean that these things. I think
The difference between a contrivance and just straight up bad writing. A contrivance is something that just happens because it just sort of happens because he's the main character. It just kind of helps the story along sometimes. This is bad writing when you have nothing to explain what this is. It just happens out of nowhere with nothing to explain it.
Yeah,
a contrivance would be more like I don't know, in John Wick, where his friend snipes the guy trying to kill him or something.
Yeah,
because that would make sense. It just happens conveniently, but it does make sense in context.
Yeah, it's like a car accident. Car accidents happen all the time, and depending on how it was done, how believable that contrivance was. Like, would they travel like 200 miles an hour, and all of a sudden, boom, this guy gets flattened? Like, that's too much. If it's like 20 miles an hour or something, and some guy's just jaywalking, and then boom, oh, okay, great. Then you can see that happening. It's believable. So it's the contrivance isn't the issue. It's how believable this thing is, and this magical sword that can call out to someone is like, this what? No.
I think he was saying those things are not what makes her Mary Sue. When you say
He just caught himself. He says, oops. I think he's saying that these things make her not a Mary Sue. Oops.
Yeah.
The last couple of minutes of my rant has been completely debunked, but I'm still right for these reasons.
Let's hear it in recover. Here we go.
I'm not going to fault you for this, or this. What you're actually saying is you're faulting them for those things. It's...
No, I'm saying I'm not faulting you for these things. That's kind of what not putting the word "not" in there means. That I'm not faulting you for these things. I'm not going to dock you for having space trash parents. I'm not going to just necessarily make you a Mary Sue because you fixed the Millennium Falcon better than Han Solo did.
Right. It's the same reason we look at Wesley Crusher and we see him not briefly, but he's in a few episodes throughout the first season. It's like, okay, this guy is amazing. He's just doing all this stuff, and it keeps.
So that's how he recovers. He says, "Oh, oops." He's actually saying these are the reasons why she's not a Mary Sue. She's not calling these reasons the reasons why she's a Mary Sue, but I'm right because secretly he is.
Because secretly he's going to say he's not. Like, what? No.
What?
He is just stretching everything he can to try and say you're wrong without actually explaining why. And then he's going to call you a white supremacist or something, or you're stupid, or you're lying. It's like you're destroying Star Wars single-handedly,
or something,
and like curing cancer on weekends. I don't know, something.
Just a little grammatical trick right there. Bad writing is what helped makes a Mary Sue. No.
Yes.
What?
Yes.
What? No. Okay, this guy's a parody or something. This guy's a troll or a parody. What do you mean bad writing doesn't help make a Mary Sue? Bad writing, Mary Sue is the product of bad writing. If the Mary Sue was written well, they wouldn't be a Mary Sue anymore.
This is how it works, guys. You watch a video, right? You say, this person's really strong. How did that happen? This person can talk any language. How did that happen? This person can solve any problem. And it just keeps accumulating. And she doesn't get hurt that much. They don't seem to have any problems. Everyone seems to like them, etc., etc., etc. You look online and say, well, how kind of character is this? I've never... And then you go down the criteria, and there's a big criteria of Mary Sues. There's different flavors of Mary Sues. There's the God mode Sue. There's, the Sue that seems to look like they're fumbling. And you go, oh, wow, this person seems to fit part of this mold. And it's a hard mold to fit into because there's so many criteria. But then we call them a Mary Sue. We don't start off with that. We accumulate a criteria. We accumulate variables.
There's no way. He has to be a parody or something. There's no way. There's just no way. This is a real thing he just said. Bad writing does not help make a Mary Sue. What do you think a Mary Sue is then?
It's like saying a brick wall does not need bricks. It's like what?
You don't need materials to make a brick wall. It just comes out of nowhere.
It's all just mortar, and the bricks could be anything. What?
Yeah, you don't need trees to make paper, and it's just you can this paper just pops in out of nowhere.
Guys, when we say Mary Sue and Deus Ex Machinas and tropes which are bad, we're actually saying bad writing.
It's bad writing. What kind of mental gymnastics is he doing here?
Yeah, let's find out. I'm kind of curious now, because this is probably the worst thing he's said so far.
We're trying to stay away from ad hominems and everything, but this is legitimately dumb what he just said. This is legitimately objectively stupid.
He does not understand the definition, or begin, because he invented his own definition, which is really hard to reiterate because it's just so insane.
There's only two outcomes from here on. Is that one, he's a parody, or a troll, or two, he has no idea what he's talking about in terms of characterization and what Mary Sue is.
Remember, his definition was something to do with the competence of the character. It's the right way to be, or they're rooted in I love this term. They're rooted in narrative correctness. I have no freaking clue what that means. I've never heard that term before, because he just invented it on the top of his head.
I need to have a definition that's vague enough where I can make it into anything, but different enough where you can be wrong.
Yeah, just like
narrative correctness. That'll work.
I'm gonna ask some of my writer friends. Being
narrative
narratively,
correctness?
yeah, there's gotta be a definition out there somewhere. Someone must have used. Okay, let's see what he has to say about Mary Sue's being good techniques in writing.
Oh, hey, Shoe on Head, happy to have you there. Yeah, no, these lazy plot contrivances are common to basically every action movie. If you pay even the slightest bit of attention to most movies, like most action AAA Hollywood blockbusters, they will be riddled with moment-to-moment plot contrivances. Easily. But the way this guy just framed it, oh yeah, they just happened to go to a bar and it had the lightsaber. No, they specifically sought out the woman in this bar who he believed would have some piece of Jedi memorabilia relevant in some way to Rey.
She develops force powers on the fly and can use them effectively with zero.
So he just skipped he just says, yeah, no, it's not about that. And then just changed the topic. It says hello to Shoe on Head. I don't know what the hell Shoe on Head's doing in the stream. I'm assuming it's just a fake name, because I don't think she has time to. Well,
yeah, probably not.
I don't know. Maybe she does, but. And they just changed the topic. Yeah, she specifically went to this bar because of the lightsaber. It's like, really?
What, did she want to just subscribe to him or something?
I don't know. I gotta look at the script of The Force Awakens just to see that, because I don't think that's what happened in the movie. I think they went to go see Maz Kanata just because she's a wise person. They could help them get out of there or whatever. But not so sure about the lightsaber bit before she knew about it.
Training and zero knowledge on the subject, and was able to defeat Kylo Ren in a lightsaber duel.
So, nope, she did not have no training whatsoever on.
Yes, she did. She had zero.
She had
training.
no training in the Force, no training in lightsaber combat. So you are just being dishonest here.
The Jedi mind powers. She clearly had studied up on what it meant to be a Jedi.
When?
You can't study up on things that don't exist.
She didn't even believe in the Jedi.
When did she do this? She was not a Jedi scholar.
She thought Luke Skywalker was a myth, that the Jedi were fake.
You heard of stories. You like we mentioned last time, I can hear stories about Bruce Lee's 2-inch punch. Doesn't mean I can just do it.
When did this happen? I clearly do not remember anything. Maybe I, blurting out bad memories, or blocking them out. What is he talking about? When? Someone, please.
Like how every time we pause him, he has a smug smile on his face.
Oh, I got you now.
I got you now.
I have you now, LiteratureDevil. He didn't even mention that, she knows how to fight, she has a stick. That would still be wrong. A lightsaber is not a stick.
A lightsaber is way different than a stick.
Than a sword. Pick up a normal sword, you think you're going to fight like with a lightsaber? Absolutely not.
And she, no, wait, sorry. That was in the second movie. In the first movie...
Oh, so he's wrong. Okay, fine. Okay, he's clarifying. Let's start again. Here we go.
all she did with her force powers, I think, was barely move something, and also she like convinced a dude to stop guarding her. That was it. That was really.
Oh, by the way, she just moved something and she manipulated this man's. She totally dominated this man's mind to letting her go.
And
small stuff.
and outpowered this trained, amazing force user by grasping a lightsaber and without ever doing it before, and could grab it stronger than he could. Does that make any believable sense to you guys?
Because she's just that awesome. It makes sense if she's a Mary Sue.
Exactly. That's why we call her a Mary Sue. It's unexplained power level. She has no training. She's never done this before. A problem pops up, she solves it. Now, the fact that the force is magical and whatever sort of adds to that, because it's like, oh, maybe this could happen. It's like, well, thing is, we have entire schools of Sith and Jedi that you need to train in order to do that. You can't just do it.
I mean, this is coming from a guy who just said bad writing does not help create bad writing.
Yeah. I think he was just being. I'm going to chalk that up to just talking to the crowd. And then because he changed his mind, he said a little shoe on head. He's like, whatever, I don't care.
Fucking minimal. Do we want to talk about fucking Luke Skywalker's prodigious force power?
Is Siobhan Head in the chat? What is Siobhan Head doing in the chat?
Yeah, I don't know.
Is she against this video? Or
I doubt it.
Or she's just there?
I think she popped in when I get the hell out of here. It's probably someone else. I don't think it's the real person.
Because if she's against me too, then I really made it big.
Whoa, that could explain a few things.
How Luke Skywalker was able to do way the fuck more in the context of his own story, and she didn't win the lightsaber duel with Kylo Ren at all.
Narratively speaking, she did.
She first got blasted back four stories up in the air against a tree, slammed on the ground. As Finn was fighting and he lost, she got back up, picked up and fought with Kylo. The lightsaber got tossed aside. She fought force-powered, grabbed it more than he could, and was dominating him.
Yeah, with no training. She just downloaded
like Neo.
Downloaded powers from his head. Who has ever done that? It has never happened, and that's really dumb. I mean, how come like Jedi Masters spent years training the Padawans? We could just headbutt the little Padawans real quick, and they're also a new master.
And then during this time, the only way that Kylo survived was the Deus Ex Machina comes out. This is when you know you have bad writing. When a Mary Sue comes across a Deus Ex Machina, and she's so amazing, the Deus Ex Machina has to go, whoa, get out of there. Just separate you two. Saves Kylo Ren's life. Somehow he survives. Somehow Stormtrooper Chrome Lady survives the destruction of a small planet.
I'm coming to the conclusion this guy should either stick to comics and movies and stuff, or actually read up on characterization and all that stuff, because he has no idea what he's talking about. He clearly has no idea. Like objectively speaking, he has no idea what he's talking about.
People in the chat are saying gave Kylo a scar. Yeah, she nearly killed the guy. It's insane. She just if you drop 4 stories after getting slammed into a tree, you were going to have your knees buckle. If not broken, you're gonna have the air knocked out of you. You're gonna be on the ground for a good 10 minutes before you could probably even get up from that, if you're lucky.
Even with Kylo Ren being as injured as he was at that point, he should have won easily still, if not through lightsaber combat, but through the Force, through the sheer knowledge of the Force. He should have been like, okay, I'm gonna lift you up in the air. I'm gonna slam you around a couple of times until you're finished moving.
Because he is Sith. He is his anger, his emotions power him. Whether he's injured or not, he fought with Finn, defeated Finn. Okay, Finn's not that awesome, but still he was injured. Okay.
I kind of wanted Finn to be the main character here. Finn was far more interesting than Rey was.
Finn was interesting. That's true. Yeah, he went on a little journey there in The Force Awakens.
Maybe not completely interesting, but he was more interesting than Rey. I can say that much.
Yeah, no, he didn't have to be this amazing. Like that's the great thing about Finn is he's nothing special. There's nothing The only thing special about him is he had a change of heart.
Yeah, and that's actually pretty big. I mean, it's a small thing, but it's so big at the same time.
It's such a simple, heroic thing to say. I have humanity in me, and I can't do this anymore, and I'm gonna run away. And yeah, that makes him a coward, but you know what? He'd rather have his humanity than serve under a military dictatorship.
And guess what that leaves him? It leaves him, one, a flaw, and two, room for a character arc.
To become something. But he can't. You want to know why? Because there's a Mary Sue in the way. Who just sucks up all the air in the room because she just can do anything, so there's no need for Finn to do anything.
He had just been shot in the stomach with a giant laser cannon, and he had just killed his own father, and he still won the laser fucking fight.
And he fought Finn, and he lost the fight. He nearly got killed.
He lost the fight.
He got sliced his cheek open, or whatever the hell Ray did to him.
You know, like, people have said this to me. Like, I've gotten comments, like probably almost 1,000 comments saying this exact same argument, and no one has said anything different. No one has said anything different to the extent where they changed my mind, because she should have lost easily to a injured Kylo Ren, because that would mean that, okay, she lost to an injured Kylo, which means that next time they meet and he's at full strength, it's going to be, they have no idea how strong he's actually going to be in one-on-one combat. So we have a need for her to get stronger, and we don't really have an end goal. We don't, however much stronger she gets, Kylo could still be more powerful.
And the argument is that with The Last Jedi, that Luke saw the same power level with Kylo as he did with Rey, only this time it scared him for some different reason, even though apparently they have the same potential with the Force. And Rey
Yeah, someone in his chat says Luke trained with Yoda for like a day and then beat Vader in a fight.
No.
Yeah, that didn't happen. You're watching something.
We don't know the exact time frame. It's somewhere between 2 weeks and like 6 months. We're not sure because of the distance he had to travel from Dagobah to
from Hoth to Dagobah.
Yeah, so you have to speculate that they were doing something for at least a few days.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it could have been weeks. It was probably weeks that he was training with Yoda, because he went from not knowing much about the Force, just knowing like the rudimentary philosophy, to significantly improving himself. And this is clearly over days, because they already have a routine of coming in and eating and all that stuff. You could see that they already had like a kind of routine.
But he was doing physical things. He was trying to lift an entire X-wing. He was balancing on his hands.
Balancing on like one-handed, and then lifting rocks with his mind.
He was jumping, doing backflips with Yoda on his back. He was doing all this stuff.
It's crazy stuff.
Yeah. What did Rey do? She sat and breathed.
For 2 seconds, he arrived. This is what happened. She arrived, sat down on a rock, breathed for a few seconds, just shattered the mountain, and then whipped around her sword for a little bit, and then she was able to kill Snoke, taking all of his guards.
She trained herself, which is retarded, by swinging her sword in the reverse grip fashion. And then
she's supposed to have a mentor, and Luke Skywalker didn't really mentor her. He sort of arrived and said, "Hey, sit down," and that was it.
He was basically Mr. Grump, saying, "You know what? This is all vanity, and this is just breathe. You feel everything. That's just life." And kind of like a hippie, kind of like, it's just don't good bad. Who cares? It's just the Force, right? And then the second lesson was, Jedi are stupid. There was no third lesson. Even though he said there was going to be 3. There wasn't, because, I don't know, she got pissed off. Then she beats his ass.
Yeah, and then she beats up Luke Skywalker, because he defied her, and she's such a Mary Sue. She decided, hey, you know what? You're not teaching me anything. I don't really need you anymore. So I'm just going to beat you up, Luke Skywalker.
And
easily.
At that point, what's his name should have came by and picked up Luke. Chewbacca should have dragged his ass.
Luke Skywalker should have at least lost control or something and said, okay, he's force choked her. And then we could get a recall to his father. As he's force choking Rey, as she's hanging in the air, dying.
What I would have loved, the trauma that he had about to injure Kylo. And he's replaying that scene in his head, because that's the same scene where he explains to her what happens. And she's like getting angry with him. He's trying to defend himself, and he's actually overpowering her, obviously because he's Luke frickin' Skywalker. And he realizes
he should be more powerful than her.
And he realizes what he's doing. And then he just, again, that sense of deja vu, of pain, and what's the word that he used? I can't remember the word when he was describing when Kylo was there, the feeling of whatever. And then that's when Rey clocks him or Chewbacca clocks him and they drag him away. Like, that would have been perfect. And then then Luke wakes up all dejected, like, oh, I'm such a failure. I'm so sad. It's like, get over yourself, you crazy old man. Let's go get to war. Come on, let's go. You know, and that would have been like, reluctant Luke, like, oh, fine. Nope. Rey's amazing.
Just, I mean, Luke Skywalker was, I think he was a chosen one too. Like, he was chosen because he was the son of Anakin Skywalker. And Yoda still would run circles around him as far as the Force goes.
Yeah. It's the same argument with Anakin. Even though he has a robot body, he can conduct the Force through it. Even though his potential for the Force is greater than Yoda, he never actually lives up to that potential. Whereas Rey didn't know she had infinite potential and didn't know she didn't have to train. She just turned it on with a switch somehow.
I need to be awesome now.
Yeah,
time for me to be awesome.
It's awesome time. Time to press the awesome button. Time to flip that switch. Boom. I'll turn it off now. Oh, I'll turn it back on. Oh, turn it off. That's Rey.
He still won the lightsaber duel. This guy's wrong on so many levels.
Show me. I'm going to go watch that duel after this video and see how it goes. I'm sure it's on YouTube or whatever.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Hey, I like this guy in the chat. His name is JJJJ. He's like a 4 J's in a row. He's like, you are as bad as the poor saps that get rounded up to debate Crowder.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure he's against this Vaush guy. I think earlier in the chat he said something around along the lines of John Wick and some other examples that he came up with being bad and being brought up in bad faith. Like some people in the chat are just disagreeing with him. It's pretty funny. Like there's some sanity and logic in this chat, even here.
How the fuck can anyone watch this video and think this guy is anything worth saying? What the fuck?
Well, then why are you critiquing him? What is your bag? It's like, how many times can he bash you for your points that he doesn't seem to argue against? He just, this is stupid. This never happened. He's a white supremacist. He's destroying movies. It's like, okay.
Like, I'm apparently really awesome. Like I'm this super villain
You
that's
are
destroying
amazing,
things.
but you're also irrelevant. It's like, what? Pick one. He's either amazing or he's not. He's not, you can't be in between either. You can't just like, yeah, he's destroying art criticism and minority groups and he's a racist and all. He's like, okay, yeah, okay.
But, little did anyone know Hitler was my apprentice.
Yeah.
I actually schooled Mussolini on everything he knows.
Yeah, but you're actually irrelevant. Everything you say is actually not. It's not effective. It's ineffectual. You're just saying stuff. Like, okay, we've gone the entire gamut from the worst thing ever to absolutely nothing. It just, how did he do this? If I were to bash someone, I'd sort of have a clear message saying this guy does not understand the multiplication table, and I'll be focusing on that, and I'd show where you don't understand it, and that's that. But he also doesn't understand subtraction. I mean, if you don't get addition, you obviously wouldn't get subtraction, and addition's like multiplication. It's like, no, I would never. Like, that's stupid. Like, I don't like this guy is just jumping all over the place. It's a performance art. I think this is a performance art.
Yeah, I told you he seems more like a parody or a troll now because no one thinks like this. No one can say with a straight face and unironically that bad writing does not lead to bad writing.
See these holes in your wall? Yeah, they'll get patched up. They just will. It's just how walls work.
Fuck! People, 1.5 million views on this. He won. He absolutely won. Okay,
maybe.
Listen,
Also, the Hindenburg, that was me too.
Yeah, I know. Maybe those 500,000 views or whatever, it's 1.5 or whatever now. Maybe all those people are like, hey, you know what? He's making some good points. Just maybe.
I think it's jealousy coming on. 1.5 million views. And why does this video have 1.5 million views and 74,000 likes?
It's like, yeah, maybe they actually agree with the words he's saying. Maybe actually read
I'll-
some of the comments there on the video. They might have something also intelligent to say.
Yeah, something different than this guy. He can't read comments that disagree with him though. That
Yeah.
that would like snap his mind in half. Also, when Francis Ferdinand's caravan asked for directions, I sent him down the wrong way. That was me too. So
yeah?
I actually started World War One. I sent him to Gavrila Princip. He was eating that sandwich. So I was like, hey, he's over there. That was me too.
You went back in time.
I'm sorry. All right. Okay. Maybe we got different definitions of win. Okay. Listen, if I'm a sword.
Why is he getting angry? What's going on now?
I don't know. What's with all the vitriol?
What just
Like,
no. I don't know what he's going off on. Is he talking to people in his chat? Like, I don't think he's reacting now to you. I think he's just flipping out. Okay, we gotta watch this. What's going on here?
Fighter, and there's another sword fight over there, and I've just gotten a hole shot in my stomach about yay big by fucking Chewbacca's giant fucking laser cannon.
Yeah, and then he gets up, does a few rounds, walks around, fights Finn. He can still go on. He's fine. Rey gets blasted into a tree, falls 4 stories, gets the wind knocked out of her for I don't know how many minutes, and just gets up.
But it doesn't mention that. Yeah, that doesn't matter because she's Rey.
She has no idea how to fight. She has no idea how to use the Force, aside from a mind trick. Who do you think is going to win? A seasoned veteran who's got injured, or a chick who's got injured? A literal chick.
He didn't even need to fight. He didn't even need to use his lightsaber. He should have just destroyed her with his force power.
Force choke, gone. Snapped her neck. Gone. But he didn't. He was stupid. Why? Because the story had to make him stupid. That's contrivance. That's when the guy with the gun doesn't press the trigger. I don't know. He just didn't want to. Because main hero.
And I just killed my dad. And then I...
Oh, God.
He's a Sith. He's a Sith.
How dare he kill people who he wanted to kill?
Okay, even this guy, Mr. Dracula, in the chat say, Vaush, killing his dad made him more powerful. These guys are getting more points. Like, okay, this Vaush is literally like wrong in every point, so we're gonna have to correct him on this.
go out there and I still hold my own and manage to overpower Rey in multiple instances, yeah, I would say that'd be winning the fight. Typically, listen, I'm not a fucking biologist. I don't have my fucking doctorate on that subject. I'm pretty sure that somewhere in the realm of this, somewhere in this general section, running out to here, somewhere in the core that was shot out of Kylo Ren, there was probably something pretty fucking important.
Yeah, but guess what? He stood up, walked around, did a few fighting with Finn. Kind of proves the point. He's fine. Maybe it has something to do with him being a Force user. I don't know. Could be.
Because if he lost, the way they have it, there's no goal for Rey to achieve. She already beat Rey. She already beat Kylo. There's nothing to achieve after that. She can only get stronger, and she already defeated him visually. So there's no point to him being a relevant villain anymore. He's so irrelevant, in fact. In the second movie, they have him team up.
It's silly. Like, even in the second movie, Snoke is like, you lost to a girl who's never wielded a lightsaber. Even Snoke admits you failed.
Even Snoke.
Like, the narrative is telling us, you suck. You lost. Your master, your Sith master, saying you are a failure.
Because you lost to a Mary Sue. Because without training, any experience whatsoever, she beat you.
I mean, how much more evidence do we need? Do I have to go? Like, I'm going to literally just go watch it right after this, because this is. I mean, I know what happens, but this dude is projecting so hard. He's trying to look at the stomach area of this armored Sith guy who gets powered by pain and emotion, and how much pain he's going through, and he manages to keep walking. And yeah, he's losing blood, but I guess to cauterize the wound or whatever. But
even his audience is saying that actually would make him stronger. Oops.
And yeah,
how embarrassing.
And yeah, he's kind of like waddling around, but he can still fight. I would put my money on the veteran who's injured over the non-veteran who's injured. And you see him fight Finn and win. Not to say Finn was a threat, but it goes to show you he could fight.
Finn was a trained soldier, trained from a childhood to be a soldier, and he was defeated easily. Rey beats up a guy with a stick once, and is able to overpower Kylo.
I'd be happy to actually go through the video. I'll probably just do it myself. I'll just take the video, demonetize it because I don't want to get flagged, or whatever, and just show. Hey, see this? This is where Kylo proves to us he can walk because he's walking. Here's Kylo swinging his sword. So whatever happened to his ribs, he's okay.
And it's fine.
He could put force, he could put energy and weight on his leg, and it's okay. He looks like he's in pain. Guess what? He's doing fine. Here's Rey getting slammed against a tree and getting knocked out. Like a little rag doll.
Getting up and being fine.
Being fine. Knees are fine, wrists are fine, ankles are fine, spine is fine, pelvic bone is fine, lungs are fine, everything's fine. Nearly kills Kylo. Slices his face up. Defeats him in force powers of abilities she never had before. Kind of sad. But okay, let's say Kylo wins, sure.
It's probably an important piece of materia in between those two holes that are maybe useful for sword.
If it was that useful, he probably would have died.
Yeah, he would have just stayed on that grate where he was killed his dad and just died. But he didn't.
He didn't.
For whatever reason, I don't like the reason myself because it looked like he should have died, but he didn't. Why? Because they had to have a fight because the director wanted a fight over in the...
Yeah, and those are laser beams he got shot with. Like, those are probably would cauterize the wounds. I think it cauterizes wounds. Most things in Star Wars tend to cauterize wounds.
But the thing is, because it's the bowcaster, it's like a super powerful laser blast, whatever. So it should have like blew him apart.
It didn't, though.
But it didn't.
he got shot there, and he got up, and he's just holding his stomach.
Now, I do like the fact that in the first scene we see him, he stops a bolt in its tracks. So I'm thinking, you know what? He probably has some understanding of fast-moving objects and how to use the Force to protect himself, even though it hit him. But maybe he slowed it down. I don't know. I'm speculating here. But at least there's some evidence to say, yeah, you know what? He understands blaster bolts. That's a reach on my part. I admit, I'm reaching there. But there's some evidence to back it up. Plus, he has armor, and we see him walking. We see him fighting. He's obviously okay.
Fighting. So by removing those pizzas from his fucking stomach, I feel as though the handicap levied on him made their fight very reasonable.
Man who was personally trained by the...
Reasonable, but he still lost. You can make...
He shouldn't have...
Yeah, you can make the argument it was reasonable because he was weakened. Yes, I admit he was weakened. But you know what?
I'm not saying she should have been able to put up somewhat of a fight, but he should have won.
Yes, exactly. And then the earthquake could have happened, and then the Deus Ex saves her instead of Kylo. Okay, fine, whatever. Still bad writing, but he should have dominated the fight. He didn't.
Skywalker and was able to wage a successful rebellion against his former teacher. So, how much training do you think Rey had in lightsaber combat before beating someone trained in lightsaber combat? That's right, 0. Anakin Skywalker was also...
For one, again, she didn't win. For two, she was trained in martial combat.
Wait. She didn't win?
Wait. Yeah, she did. I think his argument is that Kylo won somehow. Kylo won that confrontation between them, even though it was Rey that dominated.
Okay, I guess getting cut up in your face and losing to force powers is called winning.
Is it a Pyrrhic victory? A Pyrrhic victory, but when you lose.
Was it like a war of attrition? It was like she got 9 hits, he got 8. Is that what he means? Because if that's what he's saying, we have to then count. We have to literally go scene by scene and say, oh, here she's winning. That's 1 point for her. Oh, here's Kylo. He's like, how do we gauge that? It's freaking lightsabers. You hit someone with a lightsaber, they're dead. Rey hit him with a lightsaber. He got scarred. He took his head off.
She almost won. She did win, but she almost killed him. That's how mismatched this whole thing was. She's just so awesome. She almost easily killed him with virtually no injuries or any price being paid of any kind.
Beforehand.
For Mary Sue. After all, he did...
Damn, why you gotta lie to make your point so much?
Why you gotta lie? Why you gotta do that? Oh my God. He thinks you're lying.
Like, how is that a lie? You can watch the movie. She won.
You know, you
Kylo
could be
lost.
wrong, but it's not a lie. You just did not know the truth. How can you lie? I mean, if this guy is projecting so hard, it's becoming the point. There's almost no point to continue because we know his game plan. We know his bag of tricks. It's just the same thing.
I like this JJJJ guy, and he commented again. Is Vaush forgetting that forgetting the fact that Kylo got beat and then saved by a sudden fissure in the earth? Yes, he is forgetting that, Mr. JJJJ. He's forgetting a lot of things so that his points can come off more as accurate.
Like 9, and the universe almost literally revolved around him. I mean, he had his own prophecy and everything. But here's the thing, Anakin still needed to be...
Are you seriously going to fucking argue that Anakin Skywalker isn't a Mary Sue in the context of the first and second movies?
I think I literally just said that Anakin Skywalker was a Mary Sue. That's what I said. Like those specific words. I say Anakin Skywalker 2 is a Mary Sue. I mean, he has his own prophecy and everything.
I think did we disagree on the second movie or the third movie? I can't remember. I know.
Well, I think I said that Anakin Skywalker is a Mary Sue. We had a stream on it.
Yeah.
And that we agree that he is a Mary Sue in the first movie.
Yes, for sure.
But just like Wesley Crusher, he gets better.
Exactly. Yeah, he grows out of it, as they say. The
He's not great or anything, but he gets better.
But he has to train. He fails, etc. It's like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's my point here in this video. That he's a Mary Sue in this video, but he still needed to train.
Exactly.
Oh, guys, it's it. You just have to be a white guy.
Okay, I literally just said that Anakin is a Mary Sue, and he's patting himself on the back because he thinks I said he wasn't one. Once again,
the bias, 100% bias. These glasses he's looking through is like, I'm right. I'm going to say what I think is right, and whatever I hear is just going to be interpreted as I'm right.
Oh man. You really should have watched this video before you started to stream on it.
I think, the one take format is not for him. I would love to talk to this guy, honestly. I really would. Because I'd be like, dude, here, listen, what
are you doing? What are you on?
Every statement you've made has been incorrect, or at least exaggerated to be incorrect. It's weird. I mean, I think he made 1 or 2 points which we agreed with. Like, yeah, okay, this happened. This true. But everything else is like, this is never. This didn't. Like, okay, kind of did. Actually happened.
Anakin Skywalker, who single-handedly defeated the fucking Trade Federation in the first movie, the blockade they had around Naboo.
Yeah, I know he did that.
Yeah, we agree.
That's why I call him Mary Sue. In fact, I know he did that so much. I actually just put that picture in the video that you just watched. You just watched that part of me put that the scene from the movie where he blows up the Trade Federation ship all on his own. I just put that in there. You just got done watching it. What are you doing?
It's like he's actually trying to describe that this character is a Mary Sue. Maybe.
Like what are you doing? He has to be a parody. There's no way someone is actually like this. There's no way.
Look at the comment by Ben Maku Umineko. He just said he was.
Yes, thank you. At least some of his audience is paying attention. Not so much the guy commenting.
Your audience is just sitting there going, "What the fuck is wrong with this guy?"
You're like, I hate this guy, but he just said he was.
Oh boy, it's too late to start drinking now. We gotta like sober up. All right, we're at it's 8:55 Eastern Standard Time. We're at almost an hour in. I think we can keep going for another 10 minutes. Are you okay with that?
This is another 10 minutes. We can do that.
All right, another 10 minutes. Let's do it.
Anakin Skywalker, who won the fucking Naboo race despite just being a fucking despite just being a fucking useless slave. Highest midichlorian count in history. Entire prophecy built around him. The entire story and universe.
He's making literally the same exact points that I am making in this video. He's almost doing them in the same order as I did.
He's agreeing with you so strongly. It's amazing. All we have to do is say, if he was on stream, it's like, the 1 hour mark.
Like, what are you doing here? Explain yourself.
See what you're saying there? We actually agree with you. So why are you getting so excited?
I said, Anakin Skywalker is a Mary Sue. He paused it and then said, "Is he seriously arguing that Anakin Skywalker was not a Mary Sue?" that's literally what just happened. And then he started making my points for me.
Okay. Listening comprehension skills, sir. You see there's critical thinking skills, then there's like listening and like looking, we have to like actually use our eyeballs and go, what am I looking at? Oh yeah, no, this is what's happening. What's he saying? Yeah, that's what he said.
I'm most disappointed that Mr. Medicare isn't more like into literature and character development. He's more into weird people on the internet.
Yeah, well,
if he were, he'd have a fun time with this. This is ridiculous.
This guy is insane.
This is almost beyond parody.
It is a very good example of how you take your bias and you just run with it every time. Forget what you're listening to. Forget the argument. Forget the facts. Just, I hate this guy. I'm going to start banging on him. Why? Mary Sue. He's not a Mary Sue. He said so. It's like, no. The exact opposite of what you said is what he said. Okay, we're good. Another 10 minutes. We're going to do it.
Built around him in Star Wars destroyed the entire fucking ship, the giant fucking ship orbiting around Naboo, and the fucking Trade Federation had a blockade on the planet.
JJJ, you're both bad and wrong.
You're both bad and wrong. You're both bad and wrong. You're badong.
This video is truly subverting my expectations on anti-SJWs. Okay, obviously that person is agreeing with the author here. So,
planet, not a Mary Sue, because you see in the second movie he trained up. Damn! Well, in the second movie, Rey trains up. So
no, she doesn't.
No, she doesn't train up. So you're wrong again. She sits on the ground. She sits on a rock and immediately breaks it within a few seconds. And suddenly she's trained. Okay.
That's not training. That's called sitting. Or breathing for 20. Yeah, breathing for 20 seconds. Yeah, it was about it. Yeah.
Either Anakin Skywalker is like the best mentor ever.
Yeah.
All you had to do was, hey, sit down. All right, I'm a master of the Force now. See how easy that was. Or she's a Mary Sue.
Or she's a Mary Sue. That makes more sense if she's a Mary Sue. Which one?
She receives no training. She sits on a rock for a few seconds, waves around her lightsaber for maybe a few hours, and that's it.
Which she could have done on her own time, anywhere else. But it had to be that plateau. It had to be that rock. And now she's a lightsaber god. She can stop people from fighting her by digitally editing out their daggers or whatever. She can kick one guy and knock down 3 guys without using the Force. It's amazing. Just super cool.
If training up in the second movie means you get to be excused from Mary Sue shit in the first movie, why the fuck doesn't it count towards Rey? Why the fuck doesn't it count towards Rey? Maybe maybe she should have tried spinning. That's a good trick.
You know what? If she said that, I'd be laughing, but at least there's some logic and reasoning and technique to what she was doing.
This is like Christmas. I mean, it's like,
this guy's insane.
It's like someone gave me a wonderful gift.
It's like he's either not listening or he's wrapped up in his own persona that he's just going with. He's like, and he's attacking that idea in his head. He's like, no, listen, just listen.
He's so preoccupied with patting himself on the back.
You can't listen to the basic arguments of the thing. Maybe because he sped up the video and that's his fault. But it's
that's his fault. Yeah. I naturally talk fast. This is why I talk slow in the videos, so you can understand me.
Yeah.
train before he could use Force powers effectively. Think on that a moment. Anakin was pretty much a living avatar of the Force, and he still needed years of training to actually use the Force. Every major Jedi character...
No, he didn't!
Yes, he did. He spent... Well, the time between the first and the second movie was what, like...
It's like, what, 10 years or so?
Something, I don't know exactly, but it's...
It was many years. It was multiple years.
It was implied that he grew a lot. His skills were way up there.
And not only did he didn't train like Luke Skywalker did, he didn't even train like anyone else did. He trained in a legit Jedi temple.
The real way you do it.
Yeah.
So, and he was the best. Like, he went through all the training, had his master from an early age.
Ray sat on a rock.
Yeah, pretty much.
Even if you go into the video games like Starkiller was absurdly powerful. He was like legitimately absurdly powerful. Like, I'm not even sure he would fit into the Star Wars universe, but he had years and years and years of training too before he do that.
I think that was like an Elseworlds comic. It's like the actual game was just
it's probably an Elseworld. It's probably like an alternate universe sort of thing.
Yeah.
But even if he were canon, he would be ridiculous.
Yeah.
But even he needed years and years of training before he could use the Force effectively.
Right.
Didn't he use the Force to help him do the fucking Trade Federation shit with no training at the very beginning?
No, he was a child. He had absolutely no control of the Force as a child.
He was just a good pilot. Yeah. Absurdly so. Which is why I called him a Mary Sue.
Exactly. You could argue it was the Force, but there's no evidence of that.
He might have some intuitions. Like, you can have
dreams,
you can have minor abilities if you're Force sensitive, but you can't use the Force effectively.
Yeah.
You can't all of a sudden just bump heads with someone and use Force lightning. It doesn't work like that unless you're Rey.
Yeah, I kind of liked how C-3PO was just sort of busted up and old, and he was just playing with as like a toy. But maybe that's common on the planet he was. Who knows? Obviously, he was a mechanical genius of some sort. So, him getting into a pod racer was like, again, part of the culture he was in. They had those pod racers all the time. He always wanted to be in one, so they got him one. But yeah, how he knew how to do all that shit? Mary Sue. No idea.
You're both bad and wrong. I like that. I might steal that one.
I love how there's like one voice. Well, not one. There's probably others, but just that one voice is like, "This is insane. You're crazy. You're wrong. What are you talking about?"
Like, there's one guy in this chat who's paying attention. There's one guy in his chat who's actually paying attention, and he's like, "Wait a minute."
Too old to be taken in as a Jedi Padawan, and they still took him in because he was so fucking good. Not only is he fucking infinite powerful in the Force and in the lightsaber dueling, not only did he look sick as...
Okay, this guy has to calm down. He's gonna burst a blood vessel and break his microphone or something.
This is not because of LiteratureDevil, I guarantee, because again, we both agree that all of us agree that Anakin's a Mary Sue. He is just losing it.
Yeah, Anakin is a Mary Sue. If he could just like pay attention 2 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of pulling apart his man bun there, but guys, when you want to make an argument, you don't go the emotional route. Doesn't
pay
help.
attention to what the other person is saying, and then make your argument.
Attack the ideas they have, not the idea you think they have, because this is the kind of...
If you do that, if you do what he's doing, you're going to wind up like he is. In this absurdly embarrassing moment. He's going on this rant on a point we agree with.
And he did this before, only it was with something you didn't say. Then was one with Wesley, where it's actually, we're saying this is a Mary Sue. And he disagrees, but then he says Picard's a Mary Sue, and we're like, what the fuck are you talking about?
And my only criteria for Mary Sue is they have to be brown or a woman. Right in the middle of me is describing how Wesley Crusher is a Mary Sue.
Well, he's got a few lines crossed, and we're not sure which ones. So.
And Shoe on Head agrees with this guy? I don't know where Shoe on Head came from.
I don't know. Yeah, I think that was a random thing. I don't think she's in the chat anymore.
fuck with his robo hand after Dooku chopped the other one off, but he still got to slam fucking Natalie Portman. A fucking this kid, this fucking 4-year-old, this fucking infant destroyed the fucking trade blockade surrounding Naboo, and then went down, gave fucking Queen Nabdabda the fucking wink, the Jedi fuck wink, and then fucking 10-15 years later saddled on back there and fucking slammed Natalie Portman until she had a fucking mushroom stamp on the inside of her cervix. Okay, I'm sorry, but I forgot he tried spinning.
What is this guy talking about?
I don't know. I think I broke him again.
What is this?
They didn't do anything until maybe the end of the second movie, because it was wrong for some reason. Because I don't know, George Lucas is weird. He wanted to ham-fist a Romeo and Juliet scenario.
Yeah, it was extremely ham-fisted. It was so the lines of dialogue were tacky as hell. And if you don't think that's bad writing, and he's railing about, I guess he's thinking it's bad writing. It was like, yeah, we agree.
He's railing against me about a point we agree with, and I know we agree with, because I just said that point in the video, the part of the video he just watched. He's got done watching the point where I said Anakin Skywalker is a Mary Sue, and he's like, "Whoa, this guy say Anakin Skywalker wasn't a Mary Sue?" He has to be a parody. He has to be a parody, because I refuse to think like this.
Here's the fun thing. Here's a comment by a guy who actually agrees with him. Again, we agree with him in this point. Vaush, I agree with you, but as a Star Wars fan, I think Rey using the Jedi mind trick consciously was bullshit.
Yeah.
So everyone's agreeing.
Even someone who agrees with this person.
It's like, Vaush, yeah, you're right. Yeah, but you know what? So that means you agree with everyone else, but you're still wrong about this point.
Yeah, you're still wrong about her being able to do a mind trick. Consciously, it was dumb. You know why it was dumb? And because she could do it in the first place. And she could do it in the first place because she's a Mary Sue, and a Mary Sue is a product of bad writing.
Vaush dumb takes. I don't know what that means. Whether I should probably read my chat. Maybe there's a lot of people who hate me and are trying to argue against me. I'd love to know, because maybe I'm wrong, but I watch it as we talk. So
I managed to destroy this guy's mind. That's the point we agree with.
But no, you didn't do it. This is his interpretation of what you said, which he got wrong.
My straw man broke him.
He invented
the last straw on the camel's back.
The patriarchy. Oh.
Patriarchy.
It's a good trick, which means, of course, that it wasn't Mary Sue. Natalie Portman.
Had to go through some kind of training before they were able.
I'm gonna fucking kill myself, guys. If they're white and a man, it's not a Mary Sue. If they're not a white man, it's a Mary Sue. That's it. It's really just that. It's just that.
In your head, sir.
Wait, when is Ahsoka Tano a white man? Was she a white? Was Ahsoka Tano a white man in the show? Someone explain this to me.
Female alien Padawan.
It's bad enough that he paused like the Wesley Crusher thing and then went to another screen to illustrate how what he thinks my definition of Mary Sue is. But he just said that while I had Ahsoka Tano right on screen. Like what part of Ahsoka Tano's characterization is she a white man?
So you've had at least 4 or 5 examples of Mary Sue's, all of which he had disagreed with so far. And I'm like, this is the next one, right? Starkiller's the next one, right? Is he just going to glaze over? It's like, nah, he'll skip it.
I think I mentioned Starkiller. I don't go that deep into him. I mention him, though.
Okay. Because he might be, I don't know what Starkiller is. Okay.
Even if it was just mentioned in passing, like with Anakin, or Starkiller if you played Force Unleashed. So on top of being completely without weakness...
Starkiller, by the way, was a massive fucking Mary Sue. Hey, Starkiller was Darth Vader's edgy adopted son who ended up being so crazy fucking powerful and cool and edgy and amazing, so fucking extra super fucking cool, that he was considered a Mary Sue even by fans of The Force Unleashed.
Yeah. But I'm saying he had to go through train. Even if he were a Mary Sue, even if I count him as a Mary Sue, even he, a Mary Sue, would had to go through years of training to do the things he did. And he was being trained by Darth Vader, one of the greatest Force users in the universe, and he was trained under like a monastery sort of situation where he had no time to socialize. He was just being isolated from the world and being trained
And by
under
being
Darth Vader.
Under Darth Vader, one of the most powerful Force
Yeah.
users ever. Yeah.
Yeah. So even if I consider it a Mary Sue, which I might, I don't know, but even if that were the case, my argument here, okay, is that even he, a Mary Sue, needed years of training to be that powerful, whereas Rey just sat on a rock once and bumped head with a guy.
I wish we had actual arguments here. I really wish we could describe what Vaush is saying, but everything he said has been a straw man. Everything.
You have a super chat, Pazzo. Lead to suffering, white guilt does. Lead to suffering, white guilt does. Oh, that's fantastic.
I'm getting tired of this. I know we have only I think we're past the 10-minute mark. We said, do you want to stop now, guys? You want to take it a day? I think the next time we do this, we only have 20 minutes left, which could take another 2 hours.
Probably.
Just 2 hours of straw man. Okay. Do you guys want to stop here? You want to take a break? Are we good? How do you guys feel? I don't know.
I'm good to go for a little bit longer.
Okay, let's go another 5 minutes. Let's do that.
The Force Awakens? What's the name of the fucking video game he was in? I remember playing it. He was a fucking Mary Sue. But he was a white man. Yeah, he killed a Jedi Master on his Force mission. Yeah, fucking Star Killer. It's funny, actually.
Okay, the first Jedi Master he fought, it was a tough battle, but that Jedi Master was insane. Like, he went insane from years and years of loneliness and failure. Like, to illustrate his insanity, when you arrive at the boss level, he built a replica Jedi Council room out of junk. Like, he made like a junk Yoda and a junk Obi-Wan and a junk Mace Windu because he's so crazy and insane. And he's old. So, I mean, and he's still a tough battle. So it wasn't easily accomplished. You had to be able to, figure out the moves of Starkiller and be able to outmaneuver that guy because he was a tough battle.
Cool. All right. I mean, I haven't played the game, but I've seen...
It's really fun. It's really fun. I recommend it.
I always was confused on the... how Ahsoka had the one reverse grip and then the other bladed was like normal grip, whereas Starkiller has them both reverse.
Yeah, in the first game he has just one lightsaber. In the second game they just up the ante by giving him two. Second game is a little bit better because in the first game it's just it's more like child friendly, but in the second game you can hack stormtroopers to pieces.
Wow.
And it's I found that far more satisfying.
Actually, Star Killer was actually supposed to be the last name of Star Walker for the original movie.
Oh, Star Walker, huh? Star Killer was the original name of Luke Skywalker. I think that it was an absurdly large title. Like, it was the memoirs of something, taken from the accounts of Star Killer, blah 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 blah. It was a really long title, but yeah, the original Skywalker name was Star Killer, and then they switched it because Star Killer doesn't really sound like a hero's name.
Gotcha. Not edgy enough, I guess.
Force Awakens, the Star Killer it'd be Luke Starkiller rather than Skywalker. But
also, being edgy doesn't make you a Mary Sue. I just want to point that out.
they went with a different direction. So then they called Star Killer in the game. The Force Unleashed. Yeah, the Force Unleashed.
Rey also doesn't have to work for anything if she needs it.
Also, I like how the fact that he patted himself on the back earlier when he went over that article saying, haha, she says she doesn't think Rey has any weakness because she doesn't believe in weaknesses in characters. And I had literally that quote that he found when he perused the article up there, and he just glossed over it.
Well, he didn't actually read the article. He just found one sentence.
He just found something, and so he just read down until he found something that seemingly debunked my argument. And he's like, haha, I'll pat myself on the back again. And then I have that exact quote that he read up there calling it a cop out because it is. It is one. It's blatant.
Oh yeah, but he didn't interpret it that way. He thought, oh, it's just that's not what she said.
Like obviously, this she said this, therefore I am wrong. What? Yeah, I read the article. I put it in there for a reason. I read the article. She says she has no weaknesses, and she, oh wait. It's because I don't believe in weaknesses in people. Like I could see through that. It's obvious. You know, it's obvious that she's trying to damage control. Not only what she said, but the character in general.
And she's done other dramatics or actual dramatic roles where she has to act feminine and soft and gentle and have sensibilities and then overcome them. So especially, I think the Ophelia movie was the latest. So she knows what she's talking about as her performance goes, not necessarily as literary terms go. So I think there's a lack of explanation that she does not possess, like a vocabulary she doesn't have, and she's trying her best. I think that's how I read Daisy Ridley.
Yeah.
I'm not saying she's dumb or she doesn't know what she's talking about, but what she does know is not at the same level of the intelligence of the person asking the question.
Well, she's just handed the solution because the Star Wars writers are trying to convey a message rather than tell a story.
See, like, listen to this inane horse shit. What the fuck is being conveyed here? She works for plenty of shit over the course of the story. There are plenty of movies I can think of that make their main character work for quite a bit less. And because this guy has an agenda, he ascribes any...
No. The writers, the directors, the producers have an agenda.
The writers have an agenda,
and
they blatantly pushed it, like Twitter feeds, all that stuff.
And when we see Rey do something that's unexplained, that makes no sense, it's like, oh, there's girl power again. Oh, she's doing.
Force is female. The Force is female.
Because that's the only explanation we can prescribe. Because there is no explanation. We have to It's like when we see the design of the bombers in The Last Jedi. Why were they so ineffective? Why were they so slow? Why were they so big? Why did they have all these guns that didn't work? Why were they made of paper? Why were their payloads this and that? Who made these things? Why are they flying through space? Etc. Why? No explanation. Okay. How to get in this movie? Ryan wanted them in there. Oh, why is that? He liked World War II imagery. That's it.
Yeah. He liked the imagery. He liked the pulp roots. He liked the imagery. He liked if he thought it worked well and he thought it was cool, he put it in there. That's kind of how that sort of worked. He wasn't trying to push a message.
Yeah. With Rey, it's pretty obvious. Now, if Rey was a guy, we'd be like, what the hell are they trying to push?
Yeah, then we have no explanation.
We'd be like,
what are they doing?
The Force is female, but he's not a female, so why would they do it wouldn't make sense. He's still a Mary Sue, but it's like what's the point? Like what? Like it'd still be bad writing. We'd still be like, oh, this is kind of stupid. Like who is this person? How'd they get here? How can they do anything? How can they talk to a Wookiee? How can they all these questions pop up. It's still we have nothing to latch onto because there is no explanation. And if they just wanted to make a version of Luke, wow, did they screw up? And that's exactly what happened. Except that, because she's female, there's an agenda. Because there is an agenda. We know there's an agenda.
It told us there was an agenda.
It said so. Yeah, if it was the Force is male, we'd be like, oh, I guess that's your agenda. When did that happen? How is the Force male? Like, even just think about that. The thing that is throughout all living things is masculine. How is a supernatural power that is found in all living things masculine? What about feminine power?
And they usually describe that sort of element as feminine, because the Mother Earth, Gaia.
You're right.
That's what.
Yeah, if you're talking about mysticism and magic and what have you. So it wouldn't make sense. It still doesn't make sense. It doesn't matter what you call it, because this person's attacking the idea that others dislike women. And a lot of these things, I don't know why they call it misogyny. It could just be a flavor of male chauvinism in certain cases, if not most cases. I've never met someone who hated women. That's bizarre. and to apply that is like, no, we're just looking at the roles of the characters and what they're doing and how they're doing it. And it doesn't make sense. So the best thing we can come up with is, again, I love to be proven wrong, is politics. Because they actually told us we wanted more female writers, we wanted more female directors, more actors, etc.
Yeah, one of the main people connected to Star Wars, I think it was like an official Star Wars Twitter feed, said that the or someone who worked on it, someone connected to the Star Wars, Disney Star Wars, said that the First Order represented a white supremacist movement, a white supremacist entity.
Right, whatever, yeah, sure. Which is silly because they take people from every planet and just use them as Star Troopers.
They had Finn in there.
It's like,
He doesn't look white to me.
no, he's not a clone. Maybe if they just cloned everyone, or
And if they cloned everyone, still you could bring in like Nazi propaganda of eugenics, the Ubermensch, the perfect person, but they didn't.
Right.
They just brainwashed people.
that would have been a clearer understanding of the prototypical German person or Austrian ideal. It's like, aha, there it is. But they just stole people as babies and made them soldiers. So,
Yeah, that's all they do.
because they didn't have the technology, or the clone war was a thing of the past, and maybe the people who make the clones weren't going to do that anymore, or whatever. So little details like that I don't mind, but trying to compare it to white supremacy is not good. Comparing it to totalitarianism, because it is a big military power, is fine. That's the design, all the messages, the big stadium, not the stadium, when Hux gives his speech. Yeah, we get it. Obvious, clear, good. But white supremacism, no.
Perceived flaws in the story to the writers being SJW biased cucklords or whatever, and to them not even caring about the original story. That's how.
Well, okay.
They definitely don't care about the original story.
Yeah,
I mean that's empirically true.
Yeah, I would say Johnson is patently on both. He has an agenda and he shares it with Kennedy, and he does not get the stories. I would say that. With Abrams, it's kind of
outright hate it.
It's hard to say because he says he loves it, but it's like, can you explain what that means? And all the content I've read about him has always been a defense of The Last Jedi and how much he loves the original series. It's like, you don't have to defend your movie, buddy. If you don't think there's anything wrong with it, you don't have to defend it. So why are you always defending it? Something's going on there. With Abrams, I don't know if he really, because I don't know, he loves Spielberg and he loves Lucas and all that stuff. He loves movies in general. But I don't know if he has the ability to even write. We know that Ryan can do creative stuff. I just don't think Star Wars was his thing, or let alone a franchise within a series was his thing. I think if he did a side story, like if he did Rogue One, I think he would have actually done a pretty good job. But Abrams, he just steals from something else and goes, okay, I'm going to do this. Here's a big explosion. Here's a cool ship. Here's a transition. Here's a fade effect. He knows how to do. He's a cinematographer. He's not much of a writer. So I don't even think he has the capacity to do that. I don't think his work on Lost, his work on his comic books. I just don't think he's very good.
Mm-hmm. J.J. Abrams does have some. He has some good stuff. I mean, he's all right stuff. I think I've enjoyed some of his movies. But I watched a trailer on his next Star Wars movie and it looks awful. What is this that scene with the 10 million trillion Star Destroyers? What is that? It's like somebody copied and pasted.
Yeah, literally copied and pasted the 3D rendering program. Okay, we're going to need a fleet of Star Destroyers.
Looks really silly.
Not only that, the Star Destroyers are the old Star Destroyers. They're the ones from the original trilogy.
Yeah, where did those come from?
Where did they come from? And that's that big joke about it's just going to be a time something or other, some going back in time. It's like, oh God, no. You can't be serious.
I can put time travel in here.
They wrote themselves. This is the funniest thing because this is what happens when you write yourself into a corner, and you're writing science fiction and you didn't introduce time travel before, and all of a sudden it's there. It's like, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna go back in time. One of the worst writing techniques you can do in science fiction is time travel.
It's like the emergency button.
The retcon button without retconning.
Yeah, the Voyager button.
The redo, yeah. Everything you just saw didn't happen, which is disgusting. That is the biggest slap. Okay, there's lots of slap in the faces, but to tell your audience all that stuff you watched didn't happen.
They ascribe. It's so funny because these people are the ones who tout go woke, go broke, go woke, go broke.
No. That's reality. Okay.
Yeah, that's what actually happens. If you go woke, you tend to go broke because no one wants to hear this nonsense.
Tend to. We're not saying it's 100% because obviously there's still some comics with females who are very SJW-ish. Whether they're selling well, I don't know. But we still have a Mighty Thor, who is now a Valkyrie. I can't remember what happened to the Lady Thor. I didn't read them, but I'm just reading what happens to her character and wikis and what have you. So we still have writers out there. And how you describe wokeness and brokenness is depending on how much they destroyed a franchise. Or whether their original Marvel #1 comic didn't sell. So, that happened from 2015 to 2017 when Marvel was pumping out those things like candy. And they really just destroyed the marketplace. And you had too much comics that no one wanted. And just you can't do that. I think that's oversaturation. So
Yeah, that's Marvel's problem. They're trying to oversaturate things because you can boost numbers because no one wants their diversity line.
yeah, if they actually
Because it's horribly written.
if they made a lot of really good comics, even that they'd still have low sales because no one would have enough money and time to buy 20 comics a month. It'd be like, this is crazy.
And they're putting comic book shops out of business all over the country.
Yeah,
Like, that's a whole other thing altogether.
It's kind of I don't tie it in with the whole wokeness, but it's part of it. So we kind of say it with movies because it's obvious at times, and especially with video games. But it's a thing. It's a real thing. It's not 100%, but yeah, it does happen.
Where like people will lose interest in these movies if they have like women or black people in them or whatever. But the only recent Star Wars movie to truly flop, the only one that really did poorly, was fucking the Han Solo one. The one.
You know why it did poorly? Because everyone hated The Last Jedi. Everyone hated Last Jedi. It was a travesty. It was a legendary, monumentous failure. It should be just preserved in art classes and film classes across the country and across the world, quite frankly, as the epitome of what not to do, how not to make a movie. And people were so destroyed. People were so disappointed, so saddened, so angered by the travesty that was The Last Jedi that no one wanted to go see Solo because they had lost faith. The consumer had lost faith in the Star Wars franchise.
And the people
why.
And the people who went to go see it, they just went, it's okay. Wasn't great. Wasn't horrific. It was mediocre.
And Solo was fine. Solo was fine. I mean, if I had to watch it again, it'd be fine. I wouldn't be disappointed. I'm like, okay, as Woody Harrelson, I can get through this.
Right. Yeah, it's got some star power. It's got some really weird shots that are so dark and I don't know what's going on half the time. Really silly plots. Didn't really do well in explaining Han's character. It didn't connect. It didn't bridge anything. I think they wanted to do more because was a plucky, happy dude throughout the entire show. I was like, this is not Han. This is like pre-Han. Shouldn't it show us as he gets bitter and disconnected? It's like, nope, he's just happy. So character growth, hard to do when he starts good. Starts off, with a lover or a friend, and she betrays him, or just walk. I don't know what the hell that ending was about. That was it's just the plot. There's all these twists. You're just like, what? Did you plan this ahead? Like, who? You're not that smart, Han. I know you're clever, but not that clever.
About the white dude, the more traditionally structured story. Damn.
Well, wait a second. It is about a white dude, and it did poorly. So I'm not following. It should have done really well if it was a white dude. I'm not. If it was like a female Han, that wouldn't have done poorly. Wouldn't that make sense? Because all the reactionaries would have said so and not seen it. But no, it's right, as LiteratureDevil said. It's because of The Last Jedi, and it wasn't that great a movie. And it didn't make money because of the marketing budget and the reshoots and all the other crap that happened with it.
Damn! Go woke, get billions in the box office, I guess.
No, it did not make billions. Because of Han Solo. They had to slow down their production. They said, oh.
Yeah, a lot of things were abandoned because of this, how people reacted to The Last Jedi. Like, okay, Last Jedi is going to be great. We're going to go see it. It's going to be awesome. Lots of people came to go see it, were completely disappointed, and that just lost faith in the franchise and never went back to go see another movie.
I think Han Solo broke even, I believe. I'm not sure. But I don't...
I think it broke even.
We're not sure.
However, it shouldn't have.
Yeah, we're not sure about the marketing budget in relation to the actual ticket sales. So, yeah, I have to look at the numbers again. But it wasn't anything that Disney was positive over. It was like, oh, yeah, we did great. It's like, no.
I think it broke even, or they lost a little bit on that one. But it shouldn't have. That's why it was such a failure. It really shouldn't have, because it's a movie about Han Solo.
Exactly.
One of the greatest characters in the entire franchise.
Which it should have been a no-brainer. They're gonna, as we all know, they're gonna do an Obi-Wan, and that should be a no-brainer. That should be a slam dunk. I mean, you literally just get the actor, say your lines, do something fun, and play your character. Just put him in any scenario. Obi-Wan should be great. It should, really. Same with Han Solo, right? We thought
Obi-Wan should be amazing. Han Solo should have been amazing. Han Solo should have racked in like $1 billion or so, had they done it right, had it been set up correctly.
People argued about the actor not being the right fit. I agree. I think he was okay, but there was definitely...
The Han Solo actor, the actor got for Han Solo, he wasn't masculine enough. He seemed kind of...
He was good. He was okay. Like, he wasn't bad.
He was fine.
But
he was fine.
There were better choices, and we knew there were better choices. And the story behind it was that he was actually the first one to be interviewed, or do his recital, or whatever you call it, the audition. And they went through 1,000 guys, and they still went with him, which does not make any sense.
Dumb fucks.
Say what you want about George Lucas. At least his goal was to tell a story. An easily marketable story, but a story. Now let's look at another example.
Imagine unironically defending George Lucas's fucking prequels over the modern ones.
Black Widow, aka...
I know. It's sad. It makes me sad, but...
It's that bad.
It is that bad. The Last Jedi is really that bad. It's worse than the prequels.
Natasha Romanoff, I wouldn't consider her a Mary Sue character, yet has much less of a character than she could have, because social justice warriors won't allow her any weaknesses.
Is this what YouTube is? Is this just like putting on a show? Say nothing for 10 seconds and look confused? Am I going to get like 100,000 subs just by plastering my face and just saying nothing?
I guess.
So
I guess you also have to be wrong.
Yeah.
The entire
and beat my chest and I don't know, talk about politics, I guess.
Source? Please. Somebody give me a source.
Well, play the video.
Somebody, hey, we wrote the Black Widow to be a nuanced, deep character, but then we got too many fucking femme frequency fan mail coming in telling us not to give her any weaknesses, so we did. Can you imagine writing a script like this and not feeling like you're a fucking hack? Do you really? No, just keep going.
The famous outrage brought on by the Age of Ultron movie that caused Joss Whedon to evacuate Twitter was sparked because Black Widow finally got a moment of vulnerability. Oh, sure, we've seen her brood over her...
No. It wasn't because she got a fucking moment of vulnerability. It was because she thought she was like the Hulk because she was a monster because she couldn't have children. Does anyone remember?
Isn't that the same thing you're saying?
That's exactly what I'm about to say. He's not getting there. He's not letting me get there.
So wait, okay, so he's agreeing with you, but he just doesn't like the way you said it.
I'm saying that she got a moment of vulnerability. That's the moment of vulnerability I'm talking about. That they wrote her in as trying to connect with the Hulk, where she thinks she's a monster because she can't have kids, and that's what launched the feminist outrage. Because just because she can't have kids, you're writing her as a monster. So you think women who can't have kids are monsters because it's categories. It's not people. It's categories, and so that's why they backlashed at him. That's why he evacuated Twitter.
I really think that this guy is just taking a semantic argument, which is almost in line with what you're saying, but he's twisting it so it doesn't match his vocabulary. And then he's saying, oh, that's not what is really happening. It's this word. And then I describe exactly what you just, or what you're about to say. It's
weird. It's like, I say, well, Anakin Skywalker is a Mary Sue. He pauses it and says, is he really going to argue that Anakin Skywalker isn't a Mary Sue? I'm describing Wesley Crusher as a Mary Sue. He pauses it and says, the only things this guy thinks is a Mary Sue are women and brown people. And then he continues the video where I'm continuing to explain why Wesley Crusher is a Mary Sue. This guy has to be a parody or something.
But he disagreed with you and started describing Picard as a Mary Sue. And you're just like, what? I have to disagree with him. Okay, I'm going to invent some. Okay, Picard's a Mary Sue. It's like, what? No. So here we go. We're going to listen to this guy explain exactly what LiteratureDevil is about to explain, only describe it differently and agree with him.
That fucking cringe? I'm cringing at the memory of that scene where she was like, ooh, Bruce, you're just like me. We're both monsters. And Bruce is like, because you're a Russian super soldier? And she's like, no, because I can't have children, which makes me a monster.
Yeah, that's exactly why the feminists got mad. And I'm about to go over that. They got mad because, you think all women who can't have children are monsters? She thinks she's a monster because she can't have children because she wanted children. She wants children because she's a regular woman. Okay? It's something women tend to want is children. And she can't have that now.
Yeah, even if she didn't want it, that's what she thinks.
Yeah, she's a monster.
She's describing herself and why she feels a certain way. And she feels socially inept in a certain capacity as a human or as a person.
Yeah, because Banner, he is the Hulk. He's a monster, relatively speaking. He sees himself as a monster, too. He's not necessarily one. It's because he turns into the Hulk doesn't mean he's a monster. It's because he feels himself as a monster, and so does Natasha. She feels herself as a
and
monster.
Also, congratulations, you actually provided an example that he was asking for. So
what? So you cut out a little bit?
Congratulations, you actually provided an example because he was asking for.
Yeah.
So all that rage, all that silence, he's like, what?
Give me a source. He doesn't provide a source.
A second later, boom. Okay.
I provide a source. This happens so much in this video. What? He doesn't do this? Press play. I do this. What? He doesn't do this again? Oh, press play. Actually, I do that. And he's kind of like glosses over it because he's so wrong all the time.
Well,
this is embarrassing for him.
It is like he's a clown, but he's performing to the audience, so they like that. And I guess they live vicariously through his actions because I can't see anyone reacting this way.
I'm gonna make a shirt with it's gonna be like a minimalist, with just like a face with a beard, no eyes or anything like that, but a face with a beard, a man bun, and a clown nose.
I agree with everything you say.
Which is why you're wrong. It's like he's Wimplo from Kung Pao. I am bleeding, making me the victor.
Do you remember that shit? No fucking that was so bad. No fucking shit. He got thrown off Twitter for that. That was some.
So he's agreeing with me then. He's agreeing with my source. That's my source that she finally got a moment of vulnerability after all this time. Black Widow got a moment of vulnerability where she's actually expressing herself. She's opening up her heart. after so long of having all these guards up. She's opening up her heart to Bruce Banner and saying, "Look, I can't have kids. It's something I've wanted. I'm a monster just like you."
Right. And all you're doing is you're pretty much acting as a reporter. You're not giving it a value judgment. You're not saying this is good or bad or whatever. You're just saying this is what happens in the movie. This is how the SJWs reacted. This is how Joss Whedon reacted. That's it.
Yeah, this is also how he's reacting. He's proving my point live
Yeah.
in his stream.
I'm assuming. Okay, we're assuming he's an SJW. We're just again. We have to. We're just. We don't know. We don't have any real evidence. Well, maybe we do.
People acted this way when they encountered that scenario,
He cringed.
and he's acting this way.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you said people cringed. He's cringing. He actually literally said he was cringing, and he did cringe. I think
It was a largely SJW fan base.
I think,
SJW
yeah, I think we
that.
can describe him as an SJW. I think that logically lines up. Okay.
It wasn't bad. I mean, it wasn't great. I mean, it was kind of like ham-fisted in there. I mean, he could have picked anything, but yeah, I mean, it was fine. If we worked for her character, and it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad like he's saying it is, because she's a woman who thinks she's a monster because she can't have kids. It's the only reason why they think it's bad. It's because the feminists thought, "Oh, you're describing all women." It's not. It's never people. It's categories of people.
The worst character writing I have ever seen for a female character in any.
That's a straight up lie, because apparently he's seen Ray, so he's just lying here. He's just being completely dishonest.
Yeah, because Ray has flaws, and
Yeah, Ray has. She's cowardice. She's so cowardly. She fights people twice her size at the drop of a hat.
yeah,
So,
she can escape a planet and just
so riddled with flaws.
takes out or loses against the. I guess she does lose against Kylo. I don't know.
She wins against Kyle.
I gotta watch that scene. I really do.
She wins against
I'm
Kyle.
not quite sure she wins.
AAA movie. That's what this guy wants. That's the weakness this guy wants his characters to have. Well,
No, you don't. You're just describing the scene. You didn't say you wanted or didn't want it. This is what happens
I
in the
just-
movie. That's it. That's all you're saying.
I didn't want, she could have had several different vulnerabilities. That's the one they picked. I didn't say I wanted her to have that. I'm saying that that's what happened in the movie. That's why there was such a backlash against Joss Whedon. It was mainly from feminists and weirdos. I guess that's an oxymoron.
Yeah.
Oh, not an oxymoron,
No.
but redundant.
Let's not downplay these people and say exactly what they are.
why isn't Black Widow a Mary Sue? Well, okay. See, here's the line we have.
Wait, does he think I said Black Widow's a Mary Sue, even though I specifically said I wouldn't call her one?
I think he's just saying as a general statement or a question.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put that past him, because I've totally said,
She isn't.
yeah, I totally said she isn't. And I've said that this person wasn't before, and he said he thought I said they were. So it's just, that would fit its wheelhouse.
Right. And at the time you said yet. And this is an old
Yeah,
an old video, so you didn't see.
Is it? I mean, she has a movie coming out.
Right.
There's a Black Widow movie. I knew about the Black Widow movie back then, and so even though she's dead in the MCU, she has her own movie coming up, but she could be transferred into Mary Sue, because she's going to be the focal point.
have to cross to make her not a Mary Sue. If it turns out she's self-loathing because she can't have children and thinks she's a monster because she can't fulfill the traditionally feminine role of having babies, there we go. Now,
I said I didn't even say that's not why she's not a Mary Sue. I'm saying she's not a Mary Sue, but the fact that she thinks herself as a monster because she can't have babies just made it enraged the SJW crowd so much, because she finally got a moment of vulnerability, and you can't have vulnerability. And as I go on to say in the video, it stems from you can't have shame ever. Shame is something you should never feel in the eyes of SJW, and you get this because you get this from the terms like fat shaming and whatever shaming,
Right.
fetish shaming, whatever, kink shaming, that sort of stuff. They demonize shame, and because they don't want anyone to feel that unless you're Republican, I guess. Keep up the good work, Ethan. I can't wait to get to that. I wonder if he knows about Ethan Van Sciver. If he's a comic book guy, he probably does.
Oh, I bet he hates him already.
I bet you he hates him.
Yeah.
that's the kind of flaw that keeps a woman from being a Mary Sue. she gave up her ability to have kids to be an assassin. She didn't give it up. She was abducted as a...
She gave it up. You have to give it up. Okay? You have to lose that ability to reproduce to pass whatever thing the Red Room is. She literally said that was the graduation ceremony, was being made infertile. So yeah, you give it up so you can leave there and become an assassin. Because if you don't, I'm pretty sure they kill you. It is Russia after all.
Child. She didn't make that choice. And even if she did give it up deliberately as a choice, that doesn't make you a monster. To not be able to have kids.
Yeah, but you know what? To her, it does.
I never said it made her a monster. I said it made her feel like a monster. And that was the moment of vulnerability. And he's not even there yet. I haven't even mentioned this yet. This is all conjecture on his part. I'm going to mention this.
This is okay. What happened here is LiteratureDevil is just reporting the facts. He has made no opinion, and he's just saying what happens in the movie.
It's exactly what happened in the movie, what happened in real life, that they gave her a moment of vulnerability, and that's when the SJWs decided to rage enough to kick Joss Whedon off of Twitter.
That's it.
Because that's all I've said. Actually, I haven't even said that yet. He's just guessing that I'm going to say this. I mean, it's a good guess. I'm about to say this, but that's not what I said.
Dark past before, but that was cool, edgy superhero stuff. Plus, all that mention of red she had in her ledger probably appealed to the cat lady crowd. Natasha revealed that she was made infertile to make her a better spy/assassin, since having a child would understandably compromise her willingness to kill. This is kind of like the female equivalent of castrating a man, so
What? Having a kid would compromise your ability to kill? No.
Yes. I mean, I guess he never loved anyone before. And there are many movies on this topic where an assassin is a cold, hard assassin, and then they find out they have a kid, or they find out that they have a wife or something,
right.
Or they get married or something, and then it compromises their job because now they can't focus on killing because that's a dangerous occupation to have. You have enemies everywhere.
It's the same with actual heroes. Same with Superman. They find out that he loves Lois Lane. They can get to him through her. It happened in Batman v Superman, for God's sake.
One of my favorite examples. I mean, it's not a straight-up example of this, but Leon the Professional.
Right.
He is a straight-up killer. He's like a legend on the street. He is the boogeyman of that universe until he meets Matilda, and he learns how to love. He learns how to open his heart up, and he wants to quit being a hitman because it's too dangerous. He found another life, and yeah, it compromised his ability to kill. He gets shot, which never happens at one point. By the way, Leon the Professional, Luc Besson, in general, well, actually not everything by Luc Besson, but most of the things by Luc Besson, worth checking out.
Having a kid would compromise your ability to assassinate because you'd have a fucking brick in your womb. What?
So you're agreeing with him. Thank you.
So he agrees. He's like, wow, that's really stupid. Okay, wait, that would actually compromise your ability to kill because you're a brick in your womb. Wow.
That's the physical aspect, not the actual,
his mind
blackmailing.
collapsed on his own argument.
I mean, there's more to it than just physically having a child. But it's like, if you want to go that route, I guess, I don't know, having your period would sort of interact or damage your ability to operate. I mean, not really, but
yeah. And I mean, with a woman, that's why I'm saying here, it's with a woman is you have to get rid of her yearning to reproduce, to have a child. And I'm about to say, with a man, you kind of have to castrate him so he doesn't go, lusting over women and falling in love and getting tricked by people, which is why they do that to the Unsullied in Game of Thrones, which is I'm about to point out in this video.
Right.
This is so fucking cringy.
But you agreed with him.
You just agreed with me. How is it cringy? Is he calling himself cringy?
I think he's getting his circuits crossed again. It's just like, dude, listen to your own words. Never mind LiteratureDevil, your own. Because remember he contradicted himself like 10 minutes in the first video.
He's better at debunking his points than I am.
Yeah, he's just like, dude, blow yourself up. Let's just keep going. He's a boomer.
What the fuck? Ah, yes, you see, they realized that the woman's instincts, after she sees the face of her newborn child in the ultrasound, her appetite for blood would be, how do you say, quenched. What the No!
Actually, your womanly instincts or your fatherly instincts, caring for a child, the
Yeah,
opposite of hurting someone. So,
it becomes become wanting to care for the kid. They actually made this a storyline in the TV show, La Femme Nikita, where one of the
Right.
agents actually gets pregnant, and she risks her life to leave the section, and because she wants to care for her kid, because her kid has become the priority in her life, because it's her kid. She stopped being an agent, a super assassin agent, because she got pregnant. They make movies and television show plots on this topic all the time.
the last one I remember was the very famous NCIS episode where we discover what's his name has a kid from Ziva. And
Denozo?
Denozo. He just quits the force. He's like, oh,
Yeah.
got a kid.
Yeah, it even works with men. I mean, it even affects men, which is why you castrate the Unsullied, and which I'm about to point out, by the way.
Because if you get pregnant, you fucking shit and throw up and have a fucking brick in your stomach.
Yes.
So again,
What?
We all agree.
again, you agree with me. You're making more points than I have on this point. Because you throw up and they feel
yes,
sick.
yes, you're right, sir. We're glad
He's going on this tirade because I said it would mess with her ability to kill, and he's like, no, that's so cringy. But it would, because she had a brick in her womb and she would be sick and vomiting all the time. This guy has to be a parody. He has to be a parody. Like, he has to be.
I don't know. Honestly, this level of blindness to his own thoughts, not being unable to listen. I don't know. I don't know what it is. Something's going on. It's some bias. It's some hard of hearing. It's performance art. I don't know.
And then the female equivalent of castrating a man?
What?
No.
What?
You can just have a vasectomy.
Yeah, I said, this is kind of like the male equivalent of castrating a man. Like, making Natasha infertile is kind of like the male equivalent of the female equivalent of castrating a man.
Right. Okay.
Because you're taking away that ability to, that possibility of connecting with a child or yearning to have offspring. That's why I put that in there. And castrate. He says, "No, you don't have to castrate a man. You can just have a vasectomy."
It's like, thank you. Yes.
Okay. All right.
Same points. I don't. It's,
yeah.
Hey.
He can concentrate on his job without the pesky lust kicking in, Unsullied style. They've taken away a core element.
Does this guy not have a penis? I'm sorry. Does this person not have a penis? This person said that.
You know who didn't have a penis? The Unsullied. They were portrayed as not having balls or a penis. In fact, that's what castration meant way back in the Middle Eastern times when they had sultans and stuff. You get that whole thing shaved off.
yeah.
They were called eunuchs, and they actually gained some quite a bit of power after a while. But that's a whole other thing.
Not being able to have children is the equivalent of being castrated, not having a vasectomy, and then he said it was like the Unsullen, who are eunuchs.
Okay. The first one is equivalent to the third one, right? So, what is the problem here?
Unsullied style. So yeah, you know why they castrate the Unsullied? So they don't go after women and have that lust kicking in. They won't be manipulated through their lust, which they would have.
Castration is equivalent to being a eunuch. I'm pretty sure they're equivalent. So, why is he flipping out over 3 points when 2 of them are the same?
I mean, yeah, they still fall in love, but they can't actually have children. They can't reproduce, and they can't get attached to their sons because they can't have any.
Yeah, so I don't know why he's flipping out at this point. Again, he's getting his wires crossed, and we're not sure what exactly his problem is. He's agreeing with us again, or he's agreeing with LiteratureDevil again.
Like, how come we couldn't do castration? You could just get a vasectomy.
And Unsullied, it's just they're eunuchs. It's like, yeah, that's what he said. That they're and he
You know
showed
what castration means?
it's like, I mean, if you want to get into detail, I'm sure there's a difference, but it's the same concept. Hoi.
This is this is fucking wild. Okay, real fucking quick, guys, friends. If you have a penis and you don't want to pump babies in other people, get a vasectomy. They snip some tubes in there. It's reversible for the most part.
Oh yeah, give a Unsullied a vasectomy. I'm referring to the Unsullied because they castrated them. That's what they did. That's basically what they did to Natasha. They basically just destroyed her ability to reproduce. It's kind of like castrating a man, which is a very recognizable term.
Yeah.
And it's universal, all the way dating back centuries, which is why I use that term specifically.
As opposed to a medical operation. Yeah, it's...
Yeah. Because that's what they actually did, castrate men for these reasons way back when. I guess he's just into comics and not really into history or...
I just don't think he's into words. He's not listening. If you say the term eunuch and I say the term castration, and we're like, hey, aren't we talking about the same thing? And I'm like, no.
No, obviously not. Obviously, you're wrong somehow.
Like, what are you talking about? That implies I don't know words. Okay, that's what that implies. And these are his words. Okay,
Vaush, get a thesaurus, man.
He's using the term eunuch. So
they're not castrated. They're eunuchs.
Okay, Mr. Semantics
okay.
over here.
All right.
Totally different. Okay.
Sometimes complications. For the most part, pretty good. If you want to be castrated, this is a highly unnecessary and barbaric practice in which they lop your nuts.
It's a simile, like being castrated.
This is sort of like the female equivalent of being castrated. It's sort of like that.
See, again, words. I don't think he gets words. He likes the comic books because they're visual, but the words, they don't work. They don't register as quickly.
Doesn't seem like it.
Yeah.
That's off. You get to keep your dick. Good luck with it, okay? If you are an Unsullied, you are made a eunuch. All of it is chopped off. This is fucking wild to me.
Really? He's really going to make that distinction? If you're a eunuch, you're castrated. Okay?
I don't even think this is worth arguing. This is just one man confused by himself. We were just sitting going, what? Are you... Okay, really? All right. Yeah, it's all you, man. You figured...
Doesn't know what words mean. Okay. Doesn't know what characterization, doesn't know what plotting is, can't understand anything of a literary
I think
literary term.
Is this a good point to pause? We can do like a really short one tomorrow if you have time.
Yeah, let's go ahead and stop here.
Yeah, because I'm like, this dude is just exhausting.
If it continues like this for the next 10 or 13 minutes, then this is going to take a while. So,
So thank you guys for sitting out with us. This was worse. This was the worst we've had.
Oh man.
He pretty much did not listen. Was demanding things and then got them. Then used terms which are equivalent, in this case, what we just saw. Look, this guy needs to learn to edit videos. Just write a script, read it, plan it out, make sure you're not contradicting yourself, and then record.
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure this would be at least a little bit better if he edited this video. Yeah. So he actually knows what he's arguing against instead of finding things to just get outraged by.
It's very strange because usually when I do a hot take or a one, like no edits when I do my news, I still prepare. I say, okay, I'm going to say this is what's happening. I might have other tabs open. This guy just boom, just goes for it. And half of it is, I think most of it, about 80% is performance.
As he's getting mad, he's getting overly mad, and I like to think, egotistically speaking, it's me just breaking his mind because he just can't handle my awesome.
Well, no, you're breaking in industries, buddy. You're.
Because remember, I'm in his mind. Like this is not my words that I'm awesome. These are his words. I'm a Machiavellian villain. I'm breaking industries and destroying critique. And I'm just playing all these angles from the background.
Just destroying criticisms, destroying artists, destroying industries, and you're a white supremacist. It's like, how do you do all this, man? You must have a really busy schedule to plan this all out. It's like, I gotta some Lex Luthor level stuff. Whew. All right, guys. Thank you so much. We'll see you tomorrow. I don't know about the same time, but it's not gonna be as long. Maybe an hour tops.
Yeah.
Gotta go through 11 or so minutes of this man getting angry at himself. So thanks for tuning in. Good night, and we'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow, everyone.